Brandy,
Kristen,
what the hell are you doing here?
I am here with an exciting announcement.
Announce away, my friend.
Tickets to our live show in Kansas City are on sale now.
Okay, we are so excited. This is our first live show that we're doing truly by ourselves. It's March 29th in Kansas City at the Madrid Theater. We really, really, really hope you can make it.
Please come. We would love to see you there. You'll find a link to buy the tickets in the show notes of this episode. And as a thank you for taking the time to listen to our little announcement today, we have a gift for you.
No, we do not. No.
Oh.
They must first click that link.
Oh, okay.
Purchase
The gift only happens after you click the link.
And then they can come back to this.
Oh, okay.
And then listen to this episode that was a Patreon bonus episode.
But now is available to everyone. Our
That's
gift
right.
to you. Perhaps a little bribe to get you to buy tickets to the live show.
Perhaps also a bribe to say, hey, why don't you sign up for
our Patreon?
There are so many other bonus episodes on there. And if I recall, in this very special episode we're sharing today, your sister Casey was on. She did get very frustrated with us. We made multiple incorrect assumptions during her case.
Yes.
And
enjoy.
Yeah. Have a good time, why don't you? Thank you. And we'll see you all when we come back
in February.
1 semester of law school.
1 semester of criminal justice. 2 experts.
I'm Kristen Caruso.
I'm Brandy Pond.
I'm Casey Frame.
Let's go to court.
On this episode, I'll be talking about a mommy blogger.
And I'll be talking about a disappearance in Alaska.
And Brandy, what the hell will you be doing?
I'm just going to be hanging out, listening.
Woo! Casey, good to have you back on the pod.
Thanks, it's good to be here.
Is this like my Mother's Day present because I created your favorite person on the planet?
I think it might have something to do with that because London is 100% my favorite person on the planet.
She's amazing.
Yes.
That's so sweet. And I am covering a mommy blogger in honor of Mother's Day.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's a really sweet story.
Yeah,
You're going to love it.
I'm familiar with it.
You are?
Only in that it's been like all over the place, and I've read like little tiny blurbs about it. I don't know the whole story, so I'm excited to hear it.
Okay, well, I have no idea, so I've got nothing.
Welcome to the bonus episode.
Oh, yeah. Hi.
Yes, it's the bonus episode.
How's it going?
Hello.
Casey, we're so excited you're here.
I'm excited to be here. I've been threatening to do this for like a year.
I know.
So
you have. You've been saying you wanted to come on.
Finally,
You
got
on.
around to it.
And finally, you got enough blackmail on us to get in
We
here.
have to let you on.
Those pictures of Brandy are disturbing.
Yes, yes.
Should I start us off here?
Yeah. You don't have anything you want to talk about? You just want to jump right in?
I'm excited. Oh, wait, she's touching the mic.
I'm touching the mic.
What
I'm
the
sorry.
fuck are you
I don't
doing?
know. It felt like it was in a weird spot. It's fine.
Don't make me turn this podcast around.
I won't touch it anymore. It's done. It's done.
Casey, you can touch it, but
I mean,
but like not when we're all talking.
Yeah, no touching it while
Okay.
we're actively speaking.
sorry. I don't know the rules. Nobody gave me any rules about touching the
Do
mic.
you need some, what rules do we need to say?
I don't know.
Okay.
You made it sound like the 10 seconds of silence at the beginning was something everybody just knows, and I messed that up too.
Well, we've forgiven you for that.
Yeah. If you make another mistake, we will let you know.
That's right.
All right. You're going to give me a...
I'm noticed. I really love your outfit today.
Oh, yeah,
It's
you look
so
super cute.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
just ordered a new jean jacket. I think that looks fairly similar to that one. So,
Oh, yeah? What brand is
copying
it?
you. Well, I ordered it from Torrid. It's not yours is cut from the cloth, which is very cute.
How do you know? Is there a brand name on this?
There's a logo on it somewhere. I
wow.
saw it.
You're such a creep.
I feel like that was a little creepy. Like you're
It's
just
a
like,
brand
I know
that I am familiar
what
with.
this
I
is.
recognize the little thingy.
Oh, okay.
All right. Anyway,
I like that underwear you're wearing. I have a similar pair. It's not the exact same. Mine's more of a
great from the bushes.
yeah, really cool. Thanks. All right. Anyhow, hang on.
Oh, look who's touching her mic
now. Who's touching their mic?
I waited until no one was talking like a goddamn pro. Okay, shout outs to Colin Atagi for the Press Democrat. He did a ton of reporting on this case. I had to sign up for the Press Democrat.
Oh.
And you know what? I got to.
Oh, yeah, you were.
Well, and we got to.
Yeah.
So if there's anything you want to read on there,
Excellent.
we've got another month.
Yes.
Got another month of free articles. You better just every case now for the next 4 weeks is coming from
the Press Democrat.
Yeah.
This is like fresh.
It's very fresh.
Really fresh.
Mine is not fresh.
Well,
That's okay. There's no like that. You don't get extra points.
I know.
For it. No, I'm saying like you don't get points off because it's not fresh.
Okay.
but I do get extra points for it being fresh.
What do we get to trade these points in for something at some point?
Yeah, used cosmetics from my
Oh,
bathroom.
I don't want those.
That does not sound like a prize. That sounds like a punishment.
I have the best shit from Urban Decay from 2015.
I was going to say, you're probably supposed to throw that stuff away way long time ago.
That's
No, I
made
don't do
up
that
by
either.
the
I don't do that
cosmetics
either.
industry.
Big cosmetics.
Yeah, you're a sucker if you're throwing your stuff out. Okay, ladies, what I have for you today is a harrowing tale. It will frighten you. It might even drive you to tears. Mm-hmm. But it's a very important story, and it's important that everyone hears it, especially all the mamas out there.
I know.
I hate it when people call each other mamas. This story comes from a woman named Katie Sorensen. Katie, as you evidently already know, Brandy, is a mommy blogger. She runs the blog Motherhood Essentials.
Oh,
Ever
no.
been there?
No.
Okay. You're going to learn about it.
Okay, great. Can't wait.
I love it. When this incident occurred, she was just starting out as an influencer. She'd had the blog for about 5 months, and she had a couple thousand Instagram followers. She was a verified Amazon influencer.
What does that mean? She has like an Amazon storefront?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Excuse me.
Okay.
Get a little commission.
Yeah.
Cha-ching, cha-ching. Bubbling, bubbling.
Okay.
She was a big fan of clean beauty.
Uh-huh.
Big fan of Rachel Hollis books.
Oh.
She sold,
Raise your hand if you've heard the maintenance phase episode.
I definitely have, yes.
She sold doTERRA essential oils.
Oh, boy.
In fact, she and her mom actually launched a business where they sold baby bibs with sewn-in essential oil diffuser pads. So definitely want to get some of those.
No.
Your baby needs to have essential oils on it?
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
Casey.
Or it'll get autism. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
On December 7th, 2020, Katie and her 4-year-old son and 1-year-old daughter had a very scary experience at a Michael's craft store in Petaluma, California.
Okay.
About 15 minutes after this incident occurred, she reported it to the police. But a few days passed, and Katie realized, oh, you know what? I didn't handle that situation correctly. I could have done things differently. And maybe if I share my story publicly, it'll help someone else.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
What? What? Oh,
I'm sorry.
Oh, you don't want to learn from other people, you assholes. So that's what she did. On December 13th, 2020, she sat in her car in the parking lot outside her local Target, and she told her story.
Oh, she made like a little video? She made a
Little.
vlog?
This was a 20-minute
Holy shit.
20 minutes.
two-parter.
Oh, Lord.
That's
Yeah.
too long.
That
I
is too
agree.
long.
She's not a concise storyteller.
Are you going to take 20 minutes to tell us?
No, I was going to say, I would not watch this video if I saw that it was that long. I just keep on scrolling.
I have taken the liberty of trimming this down considerably.
Excellent.
But as I tell this story, please picture me as a very cute momfluencer. Mm-hmm. Blonde, shoulder-length hair.
Okay.
Check. Blue eyes.
Check.
Skinny. Bitch, you know it. Also, a trendy yet comfy, modest outfit.
Oh, yeah. Kind of effortlessly chic.
Yeah, kind of a mom on the go.
Matching sets. That kind of...
Don't make fun of what I love most in this world. Casey, I'm very into matching sets now.
Very into matching sets.
So into a matching
They're
set.
really like popular
They're super
right
popular.
now.
Very
Yeah.
trendy, yes.
Yeah, they're very popular and easy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because if you're
Takes the guesswork
Yes.
out of getting dressed.
I do a fun thing where I just pick out my clothes the night before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just do. I just set them all out. and
I
then-
don't do that. Really? Well, I mean, what am I going to pick? A jeans and a black shirt?
All you have
Done.
to do is, close your eyes, walk into your closet, and grab two things. There you
I
go.
will have you know that I wore shorts and a white shirt to the Royals game on Saturday.
Who the hell are you?
Yeah, right?
Wow.
I wore no black.
Did not actually see pictures of
And
the
I
shorts,
wore
though,
shorts
so
in
there's
public.
no proof it actually happened.
It happened. I'm not making it up.
Did you have an
see-
emotional support camisole under it?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
naturally.
Yes.
I would also like to say, for the record, that this weird never nude thing she has going on is not
Casey doesn't have
hereditary.
that.
I do
Yeah.
not suffer from that.
Casey's naked right now.
Exactly. I'm totally, yes.
I shamed Casey once for sharing a hotel room with me and wearing short shorts. She's like,
what's
"You're
wrong
lucky that I'm wearing these at all because if it was up to me, I'd be naked."
So, Brandy was trying to shame
I was.
you.
I shamed her.
She
I
did. She
I
totally
absolutely
did. I was wearing shorts, and they were short, but they were pajama shorts.
Right. And you're
Yeah.
not running
I-
around in public, so who
No,
cares?
and I did appreciate that she wore shorts. That was rude of me.
You did appreciate. Well, now
I
you
did
seem
appreciate
creepy.
that she had shorts on rather than
Oh, I see.
rather than being nude, which would have been her
I'm sorry, I
preference.
totally misunderstood what you were saying.
So every time we've stayed in a hotel room together since, I make sure I have pants and a T-shirt, and then I
So it's not to
suffer.
scandalize.
Yes.
And I wake up at 3:00 in the morning on fire.
I think what you should do next time is one of those long novelty shirts that has like the outline
like
of
the
someone's
bikini?
baby.
Yes.
Excuse me. We need to
apologize.
talk
Back to the
Yes.
case.
more about
Yes.
this trendy outfit.
Yes.
Okay. So it's December, so keep that in mind. So she's
Okay.
got the knitted hat on with one
Yeah.
of those fuzzy balls on top.
I love those. Those are cute.
She's got on a gray T-shirt, black leather jacket, delicate gold necklace.
Yeah, cute.
Very cute. I'm assuming completely naked from the waist down.
I mean,
Video didn't
Porky
show
Pigging it.
Yep. So here is a portion of what Katie said in her very emotional, very long Instagram video. Here we go. Monday of this week, my children were the targets of attempted kidnap, which is such a weird thing to even vocalize, but it happened. And I want to share this story with you in an effort to raise awareness as to what signs to look for. And to just encourage parents to be more aware of their surroundings and what is going on around them. I think right now we are so distracted by everything that is going on in the world that we are kind of have our guards up so much about masks and wanting to keep our children safe. That way we're forgetting the most important way to keep them safe, and that is with us, not to have them taken.
What?
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 Okay.
Don't forget, you guys, the important thing is not to have your
kids taken.
attempted kidnap.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Why did she say kidnapping?
I don't know, but she says it multiple times in this. Attempted kidnap. It's like, ma'am, have you ever read anything before? So I'm going to share a story in an effort to raise that awareness, but I'm not ready. Oh, this is hard for me. I'm not ready.
Ma'am, no one is fucking forcing you.
I mean, at this point, this thing happened days ago, right?
Yeah.
You guys, she is bravely pushing through.
Okay. For awareness. That's right. I forgot.
That's
This is
right.
For
For
awareness.
awareness.
Be
Okay.
aware somebody might try to kidnap your kid.
Yeah.
I highly doubting that that's what happened.
Yeah. Do you have any predictions, Casey, about who may have tried to kidnap her kid?
Well, I'm guessing because she's a white blonde lady, probably somebody of color.
Well, that sounds about right, doesn't it?
Probably. I mean, I'm guessing that somebody of color just got a little too close to her and she freaked out. Oh, people are ridiculous.
You mean kidnappers are ridiculous?
Okay.
Yeah, that's how we feel
The
on this
very real
podcast.
kidnapping that she
Thwarted. Casey.
thwarted.
She
Yes,
thwarted
she
it.
stopped it. Yes.
I'm not ready to share this story, but I know it's important, and I would rather be uncomfortable and awkward and get the message out sooner than wait until I feel composed. Because I don't know that I'll ever be composed talking about this. So here we go. On Monday, like I said, my children were the targets of attempted kidnap.
Ping. An attempted kidnapping is the appropriate way to say that.
Why did she say I
But it drives me nuts. I think it's so weird.
It is weird.
We went to Michael's craft store just to run a few errands, get some things to make some homemade gifts. Very quick trip. I've not taken my children out a lot as of late, but this was just a situation where we needed to run this errand, and I thought I came prepared. I brought the double stroller, thinking I'd just throw them in, cover them up, put the cover on top, and just walk through the store quickly, grab our stuff, and go. I only had 2 items I needed to grab, and then I did a Target pickup, so that was the only time we were getting out of the car. So we get to Michael's. We park as far away as possible in an effort to not inconvenience others with our big stroller.
What?
That was always my go-to. Whenever I brought the double stroller, I'd park far away so that people wouldn't be frustrated with me taking forever getting the stroller in and out. That is the first thing that from this day forward I will be doing differently if I ever choose to bring my kids out again.
Oh,
Okay.
They're going in a bubble, huh?
Okay, so this video goes on, and Katie is in her vehicle, and she noticed a couple who caught her eye, okay? Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. I notice a gentleman. He is parked in the spot, not in front of me, but to the left 2 spots. He gets out of his car and starts walking toward me, and my thought is, oh, he's just going to offer to help me because I look like I need help or something. He walks toward me, looks for a while, and then just turns around and gets back in his car. And I was like, that was weird. Maybe he thought he recognized me or something. I don't know. So I get the kids in the stroller, and we go into the store, and they come in, and they walk kind of close behind me. I definitely felt the heebie-jeebies. It didn't feel good, but I thought I was judging a book by its cover.
Mm-hmm. So these people's crime is that they were parked in the Michael's parking lot and then walked into the
Michael's
store.
Did you miss the part where he came up to her car and then backed
I mean,
away
like,
slowly
how
and creepily?
close did he come to her car, though?
Oh, so close.
And with only one thing on his mind.
I mean, yeah.
Kidnap.
Yes.
I thought I was judging a book by its cover. They were not, kind. Ugh, that sounds bad. But they weren't clean-cut individuals.
Translation.
Oh, my goodness.
They weren't white.
Yeah, that's sure what that sounds like.
So I attributed my discomfort with just judging a book by its cover.
She likes to say that, doesn't she?
That is the second thing that I will change from this experience forward.
Oh, she's going to start judging people even harder.
Mm-hmm. She's going to listen to her gut, Casey.
Okay.
God damn it. Someone's not a clean-cut individual, she's not going to give him the time of day.
Okay.
I went directly to the back of the store because one of those items is spray paint, and I noticed they're hanging close by. And I'm like, maybe they need spray paint too. I don't know. But then I hear them talking, and they are describing in detail the characteristics of my children. They're saying blonde hair, blue eyes, maybe 1 year old, trying to guess ages, and I just kind of ignored it. I'm like, maybe they're going to make a fuss because neither of my children are wearing masks. Maybe that's the fuss. I continue to get in line, and I notice that they get in line right behind me. And this was a very long line. It wrapped around the store. There were only 2 clerks checking people out. So I had quite a bit of time in line with them. But it wasn't until we got closer to the cash register that they picked something up.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
How dare they buy something in a store?
What'd they pick up?
Well, you're about to find out, Brandy.
Okay.
That I don't think they came in the store that day for that particular item, okay?
Okay.
Okay, because what they wanted to do, again, was
kidnap.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Michael's is the best place to do that.
Right.
Yeah. Get fake flowers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Puff paints. Mm-hmm. Is that what they're called? Puff paint?
Yeah.
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 All right. And blonde, blue-eyed children.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Approximately 1 year old. Mm-hmm. I'm being a dick because I hate when people say years after one.
Yeah. It's only 1 year.
It's just 1 year.
Yeah, that's the worst thing about this
No,
story.
I'm being a dick, and I know I'm being a dick.
But as we were in line, there was a really nice lady in front of me, and we were speaking about the kids and, I don't know, just life. And I was doing that thing where you kind of nod and smile and act like you're listening, but really your ears are elsewhere, listening to what they were saying behind me.
And what were they saying?
I was going to say, this is really far into this conversation to not know any, or this video to not have actually said what's happened yet.
I'm sorry, am I boring you
so
too?
far,
About the
nothing
story
has
of attempted
happened.
kidnap?
Exactly, nothing has happened
Yet. Some people walked into a store and
Described her children in detail.
okay, were they
Hello?
really, or is that what she wanted to hear?
Or
Or maybe her kids are cute and they said, "Oh, look at that cute kid."
With
People say
blonde hair,
things like,
people say that about London all the time.
And they're always
always
trying to kidnap her.
No.
"Well, then she's been
They're always after
almost
me like
kidnapped like 1,000 times already." Everywhere we go, everybody always talks about how beautiful she is.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a compliment.
Yeah.
It's not anybody trying to kidnap your kid.
Yeah.
That sounds like the kind of thing someone says before their kid gets kidnapped. Oh, it's just a compliment.
Well, Brandy, you're going to have to watch out from that.
And this is when I knew, without a shadow of a doubt, that they were talking about my children for purposes that were not appropriate, or not, that didn't sit right. Talking about their eyes, their face, everything, and that the thing that disturbed me the most was that the gentleman. Sorry, this is really hard. The gentleman said to whoever he was talking to on the phone, the boy will be easier because he's not wearing a mask, so the mom must not really care about him that much.
What?
That did not happen.
Nobody said that. That's made up.
I can't tell you why I didn't turn around and say something right then, but I didn't even have the courage to shoot a mean look. I was paralyzed with fear. And I almost just discredited what was happening. I couldn't wrap my mind around the fact that this was actually happening.
Because it wasn't.
As we get closer to the front of the line, the lady in front of me says, "You know what? You have 2 kids. You go ahead." Mind you, the kids weren't throwing a fit at all. She really wasn't doing it to she was just being kind. And she just said, "I wish people would do more kind things." So we check out quickly. 2 items. I walk out, call David, my husband, and I said to him, if we had a code word, we talked about having a code word. If we had a code word, I'd be using it right now.
Okay.
And he's like, what the heck? He's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I think someone was following me in the store and talking about the kids. And he's like, what? What are you talking about?
She doing that with her face?
No. I'm throwing in some extra spice. And as I'm saying this, I feel someone walking right behind me. And I turn around, and sure enough, they are right behind me. They did not buy anything at the store. They must have put down whatever they'd picked up to pretend to buy and followed me out. They noticed me, noticed them. So they're going to their car. I start walking more quickly. I'm looking at my car, and there's a white van parked exactly right next to my car. Mm-hmm. That van was positioned perfectly right next to my car, blocked my own car in a way that if people were around, they wouldn't be able to see what was going on. And I see the van, and my stomach just sinks, and I don't know what to do.
Oh, well, if you're really that scared, you go back in the store.
She was paralyzed with fear.
No, you go back in the fucking store.
Paralyzed!
If you're really that worried about the people behind you, you wouldn't have left the store in the first place.
You two are victim blaming, and it is gross. I'm too afraid to change the direction I'm going. I can't explain to you what I was thinking. There was no logic. I was terrified, so I walked straight to my car, had the stroller next to me, and I didn't lock it. So he just slides barely out of reach. As that's happening, I see that couple walking toward my car.
Yeah, because their car is right there also.
And they walk around, not the full perimeter, but half of the car. And they go back and forth, around, halfway. And they're doing that thing again where they're not looking at me, so I can't make eye contact with them. I'm looking right at them. They won't look at me. And while they're doing that, they're holding hands.
How dare they?
Kidnappers always hold hands.
Excuse me. I have not told you two bitches how they were holding hands. Are you ready?
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so the guy, he's got his hand in like a fist. He's clearly got something in that fist. We don't know what, okay? And the wife, or, whoever, she's got her hand just kind of clasped like this. So they're kind of trying to make it look like they're holding hands, but really they are concealing something in his hand. Scared yet?
No.
Thought so.
That just sounds awkward and weird. Like, I'm not scared. The guy could have something in his pocket. That'd be much more likely.
Well, I just feel like many explanations for why they would be holding hands that way.
Yeah, a knife. He could have a razor blade. He could have a grenade. He could have a very small gun, like really small.
Oh, it could be a piece of candy to lure the kids away.
Hey, no. Oh, lure the kids. Yes, yeah, that's right.
I meant like more maybe he has some kind of injury to his hand or something.
You are so naive.
I mean, yeah, he could have arthritis.
Yeah.
Or, there's just all sorts of reasons why people
Yeah.
do things that look weird to you.
You know, I think it's really sweet that you two want to give people the benefit of the doubt. Mm-hmm. But after hearing this story, I've decided that's the last time I ever do that, ever. Okay, I'm done. Those days are over for
I'm
me.
still curious to hear, like, what the actual...
Yeah, where's
what happened? So far, nothing. She got scared.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, you two are about to feel terrible when you hear what happens next.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Well, she thwarted a kidnapping, right? So...
Yeah, it gets real good here in a minute.
Then they turned around and they walked right back to their car.
And they got in and drove
away.
And there was nobody in the van.
And they're walking toward my car, toward my stroller. And I'm saying to Dave, this is happening right now. What do I do? This is happening right now. Do I leave? What do I do? I'm too afraid to say something to them. I couldn't do it. I don't know why.
She's talking up a storm to Dave on the phone.
And then as I decide I'm going to throw Finley. I don't care about the stroller. I'm going to throw Finley in the trunk. I'm going to get in the trunk. We're going to close this car. We're getting out of here. All the while, I'm so focused on this couple, I'm not paying attention to the van.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's almost like that's become irrelevant to me because that was kind of speculation in the first place. But I open the trunk, and as I'm opening the trunk, it goes boop, boop, boop. And Finley is next to me.
She goes boop, boop, boop.
That's the sound of a trunk opening.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. And she's mad because it's automatic and slow, right?
Yeah, and time is of the essence.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah, these
her kids
kidnappers
about
are
to
like
get
right
kidnapped.
there. That guy has that piece of candy right there. Freaking Finley.
Yeah.
Is going to go for that. What a terrible name. Oh, I shouldn't say that.
That's rude.
Sorry, Denny Finley's out there.
Weird.
Well, don't
Oh,
say
don't
that.
say that.
Oh, Jesus.
Bleep it.
Cut
Sorry.
that,
Please cut that.
on the podcast.
Yeah, probably not a good idea.
That's like Brandy and like.
Absolutely.
And Finley is next to me, but there is a hair of a second where I can't see all of my stroller. You know what I mean? And in that hair of a second, they take 2 steps forward to the stroller, then 2 steps back, then 2
opposites
steps
attract.
forward, then 2 steps back.
Attractive.
2 step forward, take 2 steps back.
It made no sense. It was obvious what they were doing.
Is
And
it?
that-
Because I'm still not sure what they were doing.
Attempted kidnap. And that last time he reaches for the stroller and by the absolute grace of God, someone is parked just a few spots away, just close enough to see what's going on, but not close enough for the people that are involved. And it's an old man. He must have been like 80 plus years old. And he looks at me and he has his mask on and his eyes get so big, kind of like asking, do you need help? And I just yell, excuse me, can you help me, please? And this woman comes running over and the couple, they didn't drop anything. They just stop reaching for the stroller and they run, get into their car, drive off. And in that moment, I feel a rush behind me and I turn around and there's a man right behind me. And he kind of plays it off like, oh, do you need help or something? And I just look at him like I'm just paralyzed. I can't talk. He just gets in the van, shuts the door and just drives off quickly.
You just yelled for help in the parking lot.
And
Do you
she's
think that might be
surprised
part of
somebody
it?
had tried to help her?
And I drive off and I file a police report.
And did the police say this
And that is
nothing?
the extent of that. I am well aware of how different that could have played out. And that's what scares me the most, is that despite the fact that I was in tune enough to pay attention to those signs, still there are so many ways that I dropped the ball and was not as prepared as I could have been for that. And so my purpose in sharing this is to simply raise awareness and to encourage you to not only be aware of what's going on around you, because I was aware, but I did not know how to act. I did not practice how to act. I maybe thought in my head before, oh, that's what I would do if I was in that situation. If you don't really have a definite plan of what you will do, you're gonna freeze up.
In this very real situation.
Yeah, so
So she perceived a threat
Yeah.
based on the appearance of these people.
yeah.
Well, they came and, reached for her stroller.
Did they?
Did they? I mean, that's what she says.
Anybody else see that?
I don't know. Do you think Michaels has surveillance footage?
I bet
I'm
they
guessing
do.
they do. I am guessing that some version of this did happen. These people got out of the car around the same time she did, walked into
through
the
the
store about
store.
the same time
Yeah.
she did,
Tried to take her
got in
kids.
line about the same time she did, and because there is a lot of online fear-mongering about human trafficking,
Wait, what? Mm-hmm. I've got an
she
essential oil for that.
turned this situation into something it wasn't.
Yeah. I mean, this would have been like the height of that,
Yeah.
too, if
Yes.
it was December of 2020.
Yeah.
What are you two talking about? What are you referring to? I don't get it.
Well,
What are you trying to say?
so masks were really just part of this bigger ploy to make it easier to human traffic.
Right.
Yeah, because kids weren't recognizable with masks on.
Also, I remember how many kids I kidnapped, and it was great because, you just put on the mask,
mask
and,
and
no
you're
one knows
all
who you
set.
are.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, so, that's the gist of her video. She ends it with some tips for parents. I can tell you two are assholes and don't want to hear any of those tips. Perhaps if you'd behaved better, I would have given you the tips, but you don't deserve it. So, yeah, Katie bravely shared her story, and people really appreciated it. Within about 24 hours, her post had gone viral. Her video was viewed approximately 4.5 million times.
Wow.
Casey, that's jealousy.
Yeah, I've never had a video be viewed that much.
The local news reached out to her, and of course she agreed to do an interview because this is an important topic. Casey, if you roll your eyes again, I swear to Pete.
I mean, okay. People get kidnapped all the time and stuff like that doesn't make the news lots of places. Why would this potential
It's
kidnapping?
to raise awareness.
Yeah, we're raising awareness, Casey.
Someone doesn't want to be aware, and that's why it's important for us to raise awareness.
Okay, sorry.
Not that I think you two will give two shits. But you might be pleased to know that Katie got approximately 80,000 new followers on social media.
Oh, yeah.
So that's
nice.
you know, sometimes good things happen
Yeah.
to good people.
Yeah.
But, you know, people were really interested in this story. You know,
Well,
what,
yeah, they want the police to investigate.
Absolutely. What were the police
people
doing
are really,
about this?
like, kidnapping people in the parking lot or trying to kidnap kids. Check it out.
Absolutely. Sure.
People are thinking, well, surely Michaels has surveillance footage.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
track these
2020.
fuckers down.
That's right. Get them.
Every place has surveillance cameras now. So,
Turns out the police were well aware of Katie's story. She'd told it to them right after it happened. She'd talked to a dispatcher, and she'd driven to the station and talked with an officer. The officer thought that Katie's story seemed a little bizarre at the time, but he did look into it. In fact, he looked at the surveillance footage from Michael's and from the Kohl's next door. Was it a Kohl's with a Sephora in it? We don't know.
We have to assume that it was.
I'm going to assume it was.
I don't think it's safe to assume. Do they all have Sephora's in them?
Actually, 2020, probably not.
It was a
I
dark
don't know
time.
when they moved him in there.
Yeah. All right. That's sad.
We really ought to raise awareness about Sephora's and Kohl's.
I was going to say that's probably the only reason I would go
I think
into
they were
a
still.
Kohl's.
I think they were still in JCPenney in 2020. I
Oh,
don't
they
think
might
they've
have
moved
been.
to Kohl's yet.
Can you use Kohl's cash at the Sephora within the Kohl's?
Oh, I don't think so.
These are the questions that
Yeah.
need to be answered.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he looks at the surveillance footage, and what he saw didn't match anything that Katie said.
Imagine that.
Yeah, shocking.
Yes, there was a couple who'd parked near her and gone into Michael's and left it around the same time she did, but they hadn't followed her and they hadn't actually interacted with her at all. And yeah, there was an elderly man and what appeared to be his caretaker, but they didn't interact with Katie either. They certainly didn't, like, rescue her.
Right.
And yes, there was someone who pulled into the parking lot in a van. But again, the driver didn't interact with Katie.
Okay.
So initially, police had decided, okay, well, this doesn't warrant further investigation.
Right. Yeah.
Clearly nothing happened. And it helped that when Katie reported this crime, she told the officer that she didn't want anyone arrested. She just wanted to make the police aware of what happened.
As if
Which
anything
was
that
nothing.
happened was an arrestable offense.
Yes, I went to Michael's and so did other people. Yeah. I thought I was at my own personal Michael's.
Right.
But now Katie had this viral video and people wanted answers. And she'd included details in that video that she hadn't originally shared with the police.
Because she made them up later.
For example, she never told the police that the man had tried to grab her stroller. She never mentioned the thing about the couple saying that her son would be easier to take because he wasn't masked and therefore
said
not
that.
a priority.
Nobody said that. That did not happen.
But
So
it sure makes the story better.
It sure does.
yeah,
Yes.
very, very intriguing. Chilling,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
So on December 14th, the police...
Definitely leans into that
Yeah.
that panic.
Yes, the fear mongering.
The fear-mongering.
Yes.
I believe in QAnon, so I don't know what you're talking about. So the
You're going to
police...
get all sorts of weird listeners now because you actually said
This
it.
is a bonus episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, there we go.
We can be a little looser on the
Although I do have a way of making people leave the Patreon. It's because it's important not to make too much money. Yeah. So the police called Katie back into the station, and they had her review some of the surveillance footage, and she ID'd with 100% certainty the couple who had tried to kidnap her children. They looked like just a normal couple out buying Christmas decorations at Michael's, but clearly they were evil kidnappers.
Oh, I thought she said they didn't buy anything.
Yeah, well, she left the store and they must have put whatever. Hey, don't question anything. Police released photos from the surveillance footage and asked the public for help identifying the couple.
Oh my God.
It didn't take long before the couple identified themselves. Mm-hmm. They were Eddie and Sadie Martinez, and they were so confused.
Yeah, I bet they were.
Why the hell was their boring-ass trip to Michael's on the news?
Oh, my God. Oh.
Pretty soon, word got out about Eddie and Sadie. Eddie was a driver for UPS. Sadie was a bookkeeper. They had 5 kids. Sadie was super into arts and crafts. She has a side business where she does those balloon arches.
Always going to fucking Michael's.
Always looking for balloons and looking for kids.
That's right. Always had kidnap on her mind.
My side hustle is human trafficking.
I hear you can make a lot of money that way.
It's lucrative. How do you think I got this jean jacket?
You didn't have to wait to buy yours on the 55% off.
That's right. That's right. How are you always aware of these sales?
Oh my gosh, you know how I found out on this one?
How?
Caitlin sent me a link.
Oh,
She's got the in. Yeah.
So
And
what's
then I shared it
Caitlin
with Casey.
doing?
I don't know how Caitlin gets them. I don't ask questions.
Yeah, she's just your guy who you go to for
She's
this.
just my hookup for the discount code.
Oh, anytime the mystery sale's on, I'm like, I know Birdie's going to send me that
They
code.
call it a mystery
So
sale?
yeah, it's a mystery sale. You have to follow a link, and then it tells you what percentage off you get.
Yeah, so everybody gets a different-
55% was the highest percent. So somehow Caitlin has the hookup for the
code that
highest
gives you the
percent, yeah.
55%. Yeah.
I'd hate to think of what she had to do for that.
That's right.
55%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. The one that I got was only
only.
40%. So, no, thank
That's
you.
like nothing.
Yeah.
Well, that's a sad story, and I'm glad you told it to raise awareness.
That's right.
They'd been at Michael's that day. Turns out not to kidnap children, but to purchase a baby Jesus for their nativity set.
Holy shit.
So, that is what was in his hands.
They were purchasing babies then.
In a way, yeah.
I mean, this one would be easy to take because he's so little.
And I don't see his mom around. I don't even know if he has a dad. It had been a very uneventful trip. And now they were finding out that some random woman was accusing them of wanting to steal her
Holy,
kids.
can you fucking imagine?
Oh my God, I cannot even imagine. They were probably not even aware of her
this
at
woman.
all.
Exactly.
They probably had no
Didn't
idea.
even notice
didn't even
her.
notice
Yeah.
her. I'm sure she looks just like every other suburban white woman. You know.
Yeah.
Well, so this news came out maybe a week and a half or 2 after this trip. How are you going to remember some random
Random
person?
Yeah, some
woman,
random
yeah.
woman you saw in a store 2 weeks ago or whatever. Yeah.
Unless you tried to take her kids,
Yeah.
you might remember.
If you were really trying to kidnap their kids.
What if you were just there for baby Jesus? So Sadie and Eddie went on the defensive. They went to the police and they told their side of the story. And, a ton of their friends vouched for them. They're like, hey, these are good people. These are not kidnappers.
Well, and they have the surveillance video that shows.
Right.
Yeah.
But they didn't
it
interact
was
with her,
scary,
yeah.
because
course,
they're
of
up against
course.
this white woman who has this video that's been viewed 4.5 million
Yeah,
times.
this huge viral story that says these people are trying to kidnap my kids, yeah.
Sadie later said, I'm married to a UPS man who's like Norm from Cheers. Everybody knows him. Katie should have probably done a little bit of homework and picked different characters for her story.
Oh.
It didn't take long for investigators to determine that Katie Sorensen was full of shit.
I mean, I knew she was full of shit right away.
I was terrified for her. On December 18th, police announced that they'd found no evidence of a crime and the Martinezes were cleared of wrongdoing.
Yeah.
But Eddie and Sadie, particularly Sadie, was like, wait a second.
Yeah, it's not this easy. You can't just accuse us of this
Right,
and then like
just,
nothing happens.
happens.
Yes. Yeah, fuck right off.
Yeah.
She said, this woman can't just get away with this. She told a terrible lie about us, and this was racially motivated.
100%.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yes.
Sadie said, I couldn't believe it. It's like we're literally guilty of being brown while shopping.
Yep.
Sadie decided to take a stand. She wasn't going to put up with someone weaponizing their whiteness. So she publicly pushed for the DA to bring charges against Katie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for her.
She told reporters, I don't know if anyone's been paying attention the last 4 years, but there's been a lot of racism going on. And, well, Katie's following suit. Am I shocked? No. But will we stand for it? Hell no. So today, I stand in front of everybody in a fight to prosecute Katie.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She wanted Katie to be charged with a hate crime, but she knew that that's a really hard thing to prove.
Yeah.
Instead, in April of 2021, Katie was charged with 3 counts of making a false report of a crime. She faced a maximum of 18 months in jail.
Wow.
What do you think? Pretty sad for Katie, huh?
No.
Pretty devastating for Katie. She was just trying
No.
to, protect her kids.
No.
I guess it's a crime to protect your children.
It's a crime to make up things about people, to
Yeah.
file a police report over a non-incident.
Wow. She was just scared. She pled not guilty.
Okay.
And she launched a GoFundMe campaign to pay for her legal fees. And I can see by the looks on both your faces that you did not donate.
We did not.
No.
Did people donate to
I'm
it?
sure
Not
lots of...
actually.
no, really? Nobody did?
So, okay, she asked for $50,000. How much do you think she made?
7,000.
Casey, what do you think?
Ooh, maybe like 3,000.
$2,000.
Apparently nobody else believed her either.
Yeah. Yeah, looked pretty bad. But she didn't let that stop her, gang. She just
Yeah.
went on through.
Yeah.
She wanted those charges to be dismissed, you know?
Well,
Can't we
yeah,
all
I
just
mean-
forget about this?
No.
Remember that time when I accused people of color of trying to kidnap my kids? Ha ha, we all had a good laugh, didn't we? Well, now I'm a professional mommy blogger.
Oh my gosh. No, there are consequences for this.
You need some lavender essential oil. I can tell you that right now. That'll clear up that bad attitude you have.
Okay.
Yeah, but see, she didn't just say something on the internet. She went to the police station. She did real world actions to
And she
try.
accused
and she
specific
people. Yes.
Exactly.
So there are consequences for
Yes.
that. It's not just shouting into the void on the internet. You know, this is real people that you did this thing to. So you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
You can't just say whatever you want about whoever you want. That's
very rude of you to say to her. So Katie hired an attorney, and they tried to make the argument to a judge that this should be dismissed. There's this thing you can do when you're charged with misdemeanors where you can get a court-approved diversion, and basically after 2 years of doing what the judge has asked of you, your charges get dismissed.
right.
But the thing is, generally speaking, in order to get diversion, you have to take responsibility for what
Right.
you've
Yeah,
done.
you do.
Oh, that's tricky. And Katie had no interest in that. So
Yeah, she didn't do anything wrong.
She's
she
sticking to her version.
She was
let's see.
terrified for her kids.
let's see.
Okay.
So she applies for diversion, and the judge was like, no.
No.
She applied again, because maybe the judge didn't hear her the first time. And the judge again was like, no, you haven't taken any responsibility.
Yeah.
No.
No.
So, after plenty of delays, Katie's trial took place in April of 2023. It's a fresh
It's
one.
real
It's real fresh.
It's
Is
real
anyone else
fresh.
steamed up?
I'm not.
You
But
feeling that steam heat?
do you want to take your jacket off?
No, because it's so cute.
Do you want to turn the fan on?
And also, you're so obsessed with me. I can just tell that if I took this jacket off, you'd have all kinds of feelings and emotions.
urges, perhaps.
Urges. I don't want to upend your whole life, Brandy. At trial, the prosecution contended that Katie made up this story about Eddie and Sadie because she wanted to boost her profile as an influencer.
Correct.
In her viral video, Katie was well-dressed, she was well-groomed, and she shared tips for parents on how to avoid a kidnap, that's just me being an ass. She lied to police to help her career. Yeah, so that was one of the things they brought up was like, she was like perfectly coiffed for this video. Yeah. I don't know.
Do you think that she was really like dressed like that when she ran these errands?
Well, no, because this is like a couple days later.
Yeah, that's after she had she wasn't ready
to do
the video, Casey.
No, but the argument is that
through.
She put herself together.
She did
to
tell this
video.
story.
Yes.
So it wasn't just like a regular reaction video where
Correct.
something happened and she had to get it off her chest right away. No, she like did this days later. She thought about exactly what she was going to say. And
I think it was
look.
all very calculated.
Yeah, I do too.
Including so much of the, like, I even think the woman in line who was so kind to her and said, I wish more people were kind.
Yeah.
I think a lot of this, it's like...
Yeah, that's superfluous to the story. It plays no...
Oh, disagree. I think one day when you're telling this on the Christian circuit,
okay,
there are angels.
Yeah.
And, like, there are people
Yeah.
who thank God for this person,
Yep.
thank God for this person. And,
Yep.
like, there's all these different
Wow.
things.
Yeah.
okay. I didn't think about it that way.
Well, that's because you haven't spent 2 whole days thinking about
I guess that's
Katie Swords. I also loved her, like, I didn't do it right. I was
I made so many mistakes, but by the grace of God,
a
Kidnap was prevented.
But Katie's defense attorney argued that Katie had simply misunderstood what was happening. Mm-hmm. There were a lot of people in the parking lot. It can be really easy to misinterpret things. She was very anxious due to the COVID pandemic. Okay, so it's believable that she would misinterpret what happened. Could have happened to anybody. He said she was wrong. She just didn't know it at the time.
But she's still not
Okay.
admitted to being wrong, that she did anything wrong.
No, she's admitting it here at trial. Hey, I was wrong. Oh my gosh, I was wrong.
oops, my bad.
Oh my.
Yeah, let's let
Okay.
bygones be bygones. Everybody's fine.
Publity's nerf it.
Nobody really got hurt here, did they?
Right.
So you did a racist thing. Yeah, she got scared. She called the police. And from there, it is the police's job to investigate. So what crime has happened?
I mean, she's wasting resources.
Well, she made false accusations.
Yeah, she lied to boost her career.
Yeah.
This is fully made up.
Absolutely.
By this point, the prosecution had done quite a bit of digging into Katie's online presence.
Oh, boy. What are we going to learn?
Well, nothing, because you two are like, I don't know, bloodhounds or something. They'd figured out that in addition to all the traditional mommy blogger shit, making freezer meals, cutesy crafts, she was also super into QAnon conspiracies.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Save the children.
Yep.
Pedophiles are everywhere. Everyone's getting kidnapped.
Yes.
The Dems are raping kids.
That's right. That's
I
right.
think they're drinking blood, too.
That's correct,
That's true.
Casey.
That's true. Why can't they have Gatorade? They just can't have Gatorade. They've got to have children's blood. Gosh. Yeah, so this story she cooked up was kind of perfect for her audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So worth noting, Katie's obsession with QAnon came up a lot in the prosecution's filings before trial, but the prosecutor opted not to touch that shit at trial.
Yeah, that's probably a good
probably a good idea.
choice.
Instead, they focused on the difference between what actually happened that day and what Katie said happened. Mm-hmm. They called the original officer who spoke to Katie on December 7th. They went over what she'd said to the dispatcher that day. They went over her follow-up meeting with police on December 14th. In that interview, which took place after she posted the videos, she was much more confident that an attempted kidnap had occurred. Mm-hmm. She looked at the surveillance footage and told the officer, I'm 100% sure that's them. 100%. They reached for my children. Stroller, 100%. They were saying things they shouldn't have been saying about my kids.
Okay.
The prosecution showed the jury surveillance footage from the parking lot.
Where none of that happened.
Mm-hmm. So the footage showed, get ready to be scandalized. The footage showed that the Martinezes parked about 2 cars away from Katie, and they got out of their car and entered the store. And 3 minutes later, so did she. So they didn't even follow her in.
She went in after them?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
2 minutes later, a man in a white van pulled into a spot a couple cars away from Katie's. He walked into Michael's, and that was about 2 minutes after Katie had walked in. Footage from
about 5 minutes after the Martinez's, because I'm good at math.
And it's all planned out perfectly.
Yes,
they're all in it
This is
together.
a big operation. Yeah.
That's right. I mean, have you seen these claims of like this stuff like circulating on Facebook?
No, I don't have the same Facebook friends that you do.
Okay, no, like this shit gets shared all over Facebook. Like, I was at Walmart this evening and I had my child in the cart when I noticed there were 3 men of unknown ethnicity circulating throughout the store, all on cell phones.
Oh, my
watching
God.
us every step of the way. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous.
The weirdest thing is that all 3 men were also drinking blood.
Right.
And no one said shit
Have
to
you
them.
seen shit like that get shared on Facebook? Who the fuck am I friends with on Facebook?
I don't know. That does not show up in my
you need to
Facebook
clean up that
feed.
friends list.
I think so.
No, that is nuts. Now,
Yeah.
I knew that the QAnon people were real anti-pedophile, which, I mean, I have things in common with folks,
we're
turns
all
out.
anti-pedophile.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 I am not pro-inventing pedophiles, though, and I think that's where we diverge.
Exactly.
Actual pedophiles? Yes.
Yes. We are all anti-actual pedophile.
Yeah.
Footage from inside the store showed that Eddie and Sadie had stood near Katie and her children in line.
How dare they?
That was all they did.
Yeah.
There was truly nothing to see.
Yeah.
Eddie and Sadie both took the stand. I loved Eddie's testimony. So Eddie testified, he describes this like very normal trip to Michael's. He said he went in with Sadie and he was hungry and he wanted to leave to go have lunch at this Chinese place that he liked. It was kind of nearby. That's kind of why he went.
Yeah.
Then he found out that the Chinese place was closed, so he was kind of pissed.
Yeah.
What a waste of a trip.
So if at some point he seemed angry, it was just because
He wanted Chinese food and he wasn't getting it.
that is literally the whole
And
story.
if being upset about not getting Chinese food is wrong, then I don't want to be right.
At no point did this man describe anyone's children. He was literally just like out with his wife at the craft store thinking, the Chinese
get some
place
Chinese
is right
food out of
here.
this. Yeah.
Eddie and Sadie both testified that they'd never met Katie before December 7th. I feel like I don't even need to say all this part. Obviously, they had no desire to kidnap anybody.
yeah.
They had 5
Yes.
kids.
These people, I mean, they didn't need any more. I
They
mean,
were maybe hoping somebody would take one off their hands for a little while.
There wasn't much for the defense to cross-examine because, I mean,
yeah.
wait, what are you going to say?
Yeah, exactly.
And what do you typically order at this Chinese
restaurant.
The prosecution probably wanted to also call the old man and the caretaker, but those 2 people had never been
They'd never come forward.
located,
and how,
and again, they hadn't done anything, so there's really nothing to talk about. The prosecution called Ed Crosby, an investigator for the police department, who provided more insight on the prosecution's theory that Katie had done this to boost her social media profile. Ed testified that Katie had launched her blog Motherhood Essentials on July 28th, 2020, less than 5 months before she made her videos about Michael's. Mm-hmm. He showed a photo that Katie had posted of herself outside a theater carrying a sign that called for the end of human trafficking.
Yep.
Oh, jeez.
Yep.
What, are you two pro-human trafficking?
No, but it's not what she says it is. This isn't
No.
how it's happening.
This is not how it's happening. This is
all QAnon.
Yeah. Human trafficking is very real. There are lots of people in America in human trafficking situations.
This is not how it happens.
This is not how it happens. Most of the people in human trafficking in America are migrant workers.
Well, and a lot of people who are human trafficked are trafficked by people they know.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Also by people who they have followed into a Michael's. Right? That's how these things work.
Yeah.
And then they do the 1-2 step outside your car for a minute or two.
Yeah, that's real weird. I can imagine if that's what they really did, that would look weird, but I don't think that they did that.
They literally didn't do that.
Yeah,
I know they didn't. They
None of
didn't
it.
do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it being weird if somebody was walking towards you, walking back, walking towards you.
Yeah,
but
that would be
it's
weird.
Not,
It would be weird, yeah.
It didn't happen. It really didn't happen.
Yeah.
And there's proof in the surveillance video that it didn't happen that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and stories like this are really harmful to actual human trafficking
Yes, they
victims.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It causes a lot of damage.
I read this whole article. I mean, it's been years ago, so I'm going to remember one fact from it about this woman who was who was trafficked as a child by her father.
Yeah.
And she's like, human trafficking is not what people say it is. It's not this QAnon thing.
I have seen a Dateline about human trafficking, and this girl, she was a high school student. She was being trafficked by her boyfriend.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I mean, like
oftentimes by people that they know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh.
It's just
Why
gross.
does your face look like that?
It's just a really sad issue. And
It is.
It is. It's awful.
It's making up these fake stories.
I think it's also, it's that thing of, there are so many elements of her story, her fake story, that you kind of want to identify with of like, okay, because it's funny, when the story first came out, there were a lot of people who, I hate to say victim blaming because she's obviously not a victim.
Right.
But who were like, well, what? That happened to you and you didn't, do this or do that?
Right.
And she came out and was like, you know what? I was in a situation that I thought I knew how I would act, but I didn't know. And it just goes. And there's a part of me that appreciates that so much.
absolutely.
And then it turns out it's all bullshit.
It's all bullshit.
It's all
God damn
bullshit.
it. Yes.
Yes.
I'll never believe another woman again, I say.
Oh, God. Oh, Lord. We've gone off the rails. We've gone clear on to the other side.
I've got some theories I want to share with you ladies today. How are there so many mattress stores? That is how they would get me. Because I do wonder.
One you can get behind.
I do wonder how the hell there are so many
Yes.
mattress stores.
They're everywhere, and there's never anybody.
There's no one in them ever.
And when was the last time you bought a fucking new mattress?
I mean, I did buy one a couple years ago, but I bought it off the internet.
You did not go to a mattress
did
store.
not go to
Yes.
a mattress store.
Yeah.
I buy a new one every week just to keep the mattress stores in business. I have a gift for you all now.
Oh, okay.
It's that Katie took the stand in her own defense.
Oh, man.
Yes.
What
did she say?
Has this lady learned nothing in...
Yes.
Yes, that's correct. That is correct.
And I wish I'd seen a video of this because I bet this was like the most delicious moment that's ever happened. So she took the stand and she tried to introduce herself first as a mother. And then someone had to be like, we're looking for your legal name.
Oh, my God.
First of all, I'm a mother.
and a momfluencer.
I am a mother, a wife, and a Christian. We're not making fun of religion, by the way, just in case anybody has
Yes.
No.
a fly
No,
up their
definitely
butthole
not
or
what
a bee
this
up
is,
their
yeah.
bonnet, whatever you want to call it. Gnat in your vagina. I don't know. We
Either
could go
way.
on, we could go on for days.
Yes.
And in fact, we will. Katie often spoke directly to the jury. She said that the COVID pandemic had made her feel apprehensive and uneasy. She said that she was very worried for her children, particularly for her son who has autism. She said that she filmed those videos not to boost her social media profile, but because she felt so guilty about not handling the situation the right way.
Okay.
She said, I felt I had dropped the ball in protecting my kids.
Okay.
She said that when she made that report to the police, her intent was to, quote, report behavior that I felt was suspicious. But given the gift of time and, evidence, she now realizes that her children were never in danger. She realizes that now.
That's good that she admits that.
I mean, she kind of
Because
right?
it was an honest mistake. Yes.
No.
It was an honest mistake.
No.
She for sure didn't do this intentionally.
Yeah, so she's just trying to play it up like, oh, I freaked myself out and got scared.
Yeah.
Not that this whole thing was just completely
because that's
made up.
legal. I mean, if you get scared and you say something dumb to the cops, I mean,
Right.
that's not
a crime.
That's not a crime. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if you fully make something up,
Yes,
Right.
that is a crime.
That is a crime.
And that's what she did here. So
she said, and I quote, my opinion is that I misinterpreted the events that day.
Okay.
On cross-examination, Deputy District Attorney Robert Weiner got her talking about the feelings...
Robert Weiner?
Weiner. W-A-N-E-R. I saw both of your faces.
I thought you said it like with kind of an accent.
She's the whole table.
Casey knocked the whole table
Entire room. My house is never going to be the same. No, you two, you look like Donnie
Robert
and Kit when I say
Weiner.
the word treat. You two both were like, oh.
I thought you were saying wiener with kind of a southern accent.
I'm very sorry, ladies. I've got no wieners for you tonight. You'll have to look elsewhere.
All right.
Anyway, this Weiner fella started talking about her feelings of apprehension and unease, and he said, no records show that you had any history of panic attacks or anxiety, which is inconvenient for her whole argument.
Yeah.
Right? He asked her about a TV interview that she did after her videos went viral. Katie said that she'd only done that interview not to gain more fame. No.
Of course not.
Just to spread awareness.
Actually, Brandy, it was to make the TV station go away.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, they were all over.
Hounding
Oh my
me.
gosh, leave me alone. Okay, fine, I'll do the interview. My God. Truth is, she wanted to escape the attention. She's just like me. She doesn't want any more attention.
She just popped her tits out for the world to see.
My gosh, what a fantasy. In closing arguments, the prosecutor argued that Katie should be held accountable for what she did.
Yes.
He said that no reasonable person would find themselves in that situation, which, by the way, was like nothing.
A nothing situation.
And
Nothing
then
happened.
come to the conclusion that, oh my God, they were trying to take
My
my
kids were nearly kidnapped.
Kidnap.
Oh, that's right. Kidnap.
The defense argued that the prosecution hadn't proven that Katie knew she was wrong when she talked to the police. He asked the jurors to ask themselves whether they thought Katie believed her children were in danger that day. He said, if the answer to that is yes, you must find her not guilty. The jury of 8 men and 4 women deliberated for 5 hours.
What'd they decide?
I'm about to tell you, ma'am. They found her not guilty on the first 2 counts. Oh, is that my phone?
No, it's mine.
Man.
Badass.
What are you doing? Who's texting you?
Who's sexting you?
Lisa,
Some
she
wiener
wants the
fella?
blood pressure machine.
It's a pretty exciting text.
really important information.
Cool. Anyway, I'm just getting down to the verdict here. Yeah, please.
Kind of a critical moment in the podcast, Casey.
I didn't choose to text message myself right now.
Do you know how to put your phone in Do Not Disturb mode?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Casey goes to movie theaters. Her phone's just going off the whole time. People
It's
are
in
mad. She's
my
like,
purse at the movie theater.
they found her not guilty on the first 2 counts, but guilty for lying to police during her December 14th interview.
Okay.
So lying to the dispatcher, lying to that first police officer. I think they felt like she'd expressed enough doubt there.
Yeah.
That they kind of gave her the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
She faces a maximum of 6 months in jail, and she'll be sentenced next month. So stay tuned.
Yeah, I think that if she's really like a QAnon believer, that there is a possibility that she believed that this was real for a second and then played that up to then grow her audience.
Okay, so that's possible. I mean, it still doesn't fit the reasonable person stare.
Not at all. It's not reasonable at all.
But I mean, the fact that this couple, like, literally didn't say any of those
never
things,
interacted with her in any way.
I literally think she saw a Hispanic couple and she's like,
Yeah. And they park kind of close
it's very
to her.
possible. Yeah.
I would like to end with a quote from Sadie. She said, "Jail won't fix the systems that allow the Katies of the world to do these things in the first place. She's just a little piece of a big puzzle."
That's absolutely true.
And that is the story of an attempted kidnap.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, thanks. I hated it.
Yeah. That
You got a real light one, do you?
No, not so much.
What the fuck is happening now?
It's the computer noise. Oh. My computer went to sleep and now it's awake.
Everyone, Casey's computer has some virus because of all the weird stuff she looks at online.
She looks at weird porn
Yeah.
constantly.
I guess too much porn will do that to you.
Brandy, what's the weird porn? Do you want to describe it?
It's what's weird is that she's really into balloons.
Kind of ruined it when she saw her sister on the site.
That really put a
She's
damper
like,
on that fetish.
I need a new fetish. But how do you get a new fetish?
I mean, right? You like what you like.
Exactly.
I just hope to
Just
never
ruin balloons.
to never see Brandy on there again. Okay, ladies. To start off, most of this, it comes from an episode of Dateline titled A Walk in the Rain.
Who is our correspondent?
Josh Mankiewicz.
Ooh, friend of the show.
Yes.
Yeah. Now that we
we're
stopped
best
being
friends
mean
now.
to him.
So Josh Mankiewicz, I didn't really know this, but James is the one who told me all this. James is my husband. He is the grandson of...
Hold the fucking phone. James is not the one who told you
maybe
this.
you told me
I
this.
fucking told you this.
You did? I don't remember that.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, yeah, I
First
told
she
James
ruins
too, and
your
I blew
balloon
James's
fetish.
mind with it.
Oh, maybe that's what happened. Okay.
Anyway, continue with your false narrative.
Let's hear it.
So Josh Mankiewicz, he's the grandson of the famous screenwriter Herman Mankiewicz, who wrote Citizen Kane. Yeah. Like the best movie of all time.
And his brother is the Turner Classic Movies
his
guy.
brother is Ben Mankiewicz, who does
my
all the movies on
Yes.
Turner Classic Movies.
Holy shit.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. I've been watching Turner Classic Movies forever, and I've known who Josh Mankiewicz was forever. I had no idea that
Josh
they were
and Ben
related.
were brothers.
That is so cool that James told you that.
Yes, I know.
Anyway, get the fuck out of here.
Randy, are you getting all this? I bet your mind's pretty blown,
This is the
too.
first time I'm hearing this.
Okay, so then I also found a really good article by Robin Bearfield on Medium.com. I did not put the title of the...
That's okay.
Okay, I definitely wrote it later in my notes, but so... Anyway, she did a great job. Most of this is me just paraphrasing her article and Josh from Dateline. So I'm not a writer, so any mistakes or clunkiness are on me. Nobody else. So.
You don't need a disclaimer. You're doing great.
Okay.
We don't know that she's doing great.
You have
she
no
might
idea.
have pure shit ahead.
All right. Picture it.
Yes!
Alaska, land of the midnight sun.
Oh.
Yeah.
Have we covered
I don't
Alaska?
know that we've done any Alaska cases.
This is very exciting.
So from mid-April to mid-August, there are places in Alaska where the sun doesn't even really set. Like it gets dim
Like dusk
like
kind of situation?
dusk, but the sun never goes down. So if you're north of the Arctic Circle, from those periods of time, the sun doesn't set. And then in the winter, like the sun
opposite.
doesn't come
It's just
out.
dark for fucking
It's just dark.
ever.
That sounds terrible.
Yes, it's okay. So Nome, Alaska sits about 150 miles south of the Arctic Circle. So the sun does go down there, but it's closer to
How much of this is going to be a geography lesson?
just this first paragraph, and then
That
we're
is
done.
so rude.
I know
It is rude.
And
She
she loves geography.
I love geography.
She loves geography.
I do. So yes, you're going to get the geography and the population demographics. You just sit tight.
I'll power
we'll get
through.
through it. Okay.
Will you? Will
Yes.
you? Seems like you're going to be an asshole.
Yes.
It is so hot in here.
Thank you for finally admitting it. It is
I was
very
not
warm.
hot before.
I wasn't
I am
hot when you
now.
said either, but I am also hot
Okay.
now.
Brandy, can you reach that? Or
I don't think so. I don't know. Let's see.
This is your moment, a new beginning. Woo!
All right.
Okay, is that going to be like?
Is that too much? Do I got to try and reach it again?
I think you
Because
might
I
need to
already
reach it
celebrated.
Can you do it again?
Pull something.
I might.
Oh. Okay, very good.
Okay. Awesome.
Good thing you had your emotional support, Cammie.
It's a good thing I brought my Stretch Armstrong arms today. Don't look embarrassed at me, Kristen.
Stupid. See, I only make really good jokes, so I'm embarrassed when you say something dumb.
Okay, so back to our geography lesson. Nome sits on the Norton Sound on the Bering Sea and is closer to Russia than the rest of the U.S.
I can see Russia from my house.
I mean, you could
I can
probably.
my house.
Nome is most famous for being
Really
gold
small
rush.
and having a hat.
yeah, you say only hilarious jokes on the
It is the most famous gold rush town in Alaska.
Oh.
So in the early 90s, people flocked there from all over the world. And it's also famous for being the place where the Iditarod ends.
And there's that song about it. Gnome, if you want to.
Oh, my God. That was terrible. That was awful.
Oh no, Casey, this is gonna be like when Norm was on and we just harassed him the whole time.
The whole time. Yes, I remember that episode. Okay, so back to the story.
Literally, all you've said is like the name of a town. You've gone off the rails.
Okay, I'm reining it back in.
Me too.
So approximately 3,800 people live in Nome.
Okay.
That's very small.
Yeah. Yes, that's a small town. Yes.
But that is the big city in Alaska.
Wow.
Yes. So not Norm. Nome is actually the 15th largest city in Alaska, but it's still only the 15th largest city has
3,800 people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really, really small.
Yeah, not a real densely populated area.
Yes, exactly.
But I think it feels really big to the gnome.
Yeah.
It is home of the gnomes.
Okay. You guys are going to be so difficult, aren't you? Okay. Sonia Dora Ivanov was born on April 13th, 1984. She's the fourth of 6 children, and she was from the small village of Unalakleet. I knew I was going to say it wrong.
That's okay.
Unalakleet.
Brandy always messes up pronunciations. Not me, though.
Which is about 150 miles southeast of Nome, and the population there is about 700 people.
Oh, wow.
Most of the residents of Unalakleet are Native Alaskans, including Sonia and her family. She was a bright spark in such a small town, and everyone knew who she was. Hell, half the town was family.
Yeah,
I was going to
exactly.
say.
700 people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, it's the Dateline story. She lit up a room. Everybody loved her. She's popular. But, I mean, it seems to really be true. They have tons of photos, and she's beautiful.
Yeah.
She's a star on her high school basketball team. She's 5'11".
Oh.
So she was tall and in a little town.
Yeah.
So then she was also an honor roll student. She was also extremely proud of her heritage. Very proud of being a Native Alaskan. she even entered into the Arctic Native Brotherhood pageant in hopes of winning some scholarship money. So, like, it's not a traditional beauty pageant where they go and they talk about, you know, they put on their native clothing.
Sounds like it's not degrading in any way. That's a shame.
At least it didn't look like it. Yeah. Like they present things that they made. So she like made a pair of mittens out of like fur. So like they have skills and stuff. And so like it just looked really cool.
Pageant, but not like a beauty pageant.
Yeah. So opportunities were really slim in Unalakleet. Only 700 people. There's only so much you could do there. So Sonia and her best friend, Timmerie, moved to Nome for better opportunities after high school.
What? Okay, so she's your age. So
she's my age, yes. So that's kind of one of the things that really resonated with me, too. Yeah. So it's 2003 when she moves to Nome. Yeah. And so she graduated the same year I did in 2002. So they moved there for job prospects, and Sonia's got like a whole plan. She knows what she wants to do. This is just the stepping stone of what she wants for her life. She wanted to go somewhere warm and go to college, and moving to Nome was a way to save up money and, you know, work at a job so she could start this process, take some classes and stuff. But she really ultimately wanted to move to Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, hell yeah.
Yeah, I want to move to Hawaii too. Yeah. Not going to happen, but...
Don't you dare move to Hawaii.
I'm not moving to Hawaii.
All right.
Yeah. So she got a job at the admission desk at a local hospital, and then she and Timmerie shared an apartment. Neither one of them had a car, so they walked everywhere. And Nome isn't huge.
I was going to say, is that common in that area?
I don't know if it's common. They do. It's cold. That would be the thing that would bother me. It's like, can you walk everywhere in the winter in Nome? I don't know. But they didn't have any concerns about it. They felt safe walking around.
What do people do after they're done with their dog sleds at the end of the Iditarod?
I guess they just leave them on the side of the road.
And then you can just hitch one of those to work, maybe? I don't think that's a real thing.
No, it's not. But Nome was such a small place, and they weren't worried about it. They didn't have anything to worry about, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, nothing bad happens.
Nothing bad happens to people.
Yeah. I sense it.
On the night of August 10th, 2003, Sonia and Timmerie went over to a friend's house. They played some board games. They hung out.
Do you know what board games they played?
I don't. They didn't say.
Very disappointing.
I'm sorry. You know, they're young kids. They did a little bit of drinking, but Sonia only had one beer. Timmerie didn't have anything because she had to get up and go to work. So, like, they're not drunk. Yeah. Not that it even matters if they were. Yeah. But yes, yeah. So they're just having fun with friends.
Yeah.
Timmerie had to be at work early the next morning, so she decided to go ahead and just crash at her other friend's house because it was closer and she really needed to get to sleep because she had to be up in like 4 hours.
Okay.
So Sonia didn't have to go back to work until Tuesday, so she's like, I'm
going to stay up. I'm going to have fun.
I'm going to stay up. I'm going to have fun. She's like, you know what? It's starting to mist outside, and, you know, I really like the rain. She, like, had a special relationship with it. She loved to go for walks in the rain.
Oh, okay.
So it's not actually raining. It's just misting, so it's, like, the perfect weather to do that. Yeah. And it's August, so it's nice outside, and it's, like, midnight, and the sun has just gone down.
It's not,
so it's not even really hardly dark, you know. So at around 1 a.m., they split up, and she headed home on foot. And then Timmerie went to her other friend's house. Timmerie came home around 5 a.m. to get ready for work, and she was surprised she didn't see Sonia anywhere in their apartment. And she thought that was strange because, you know, Sonia left to walk home.
Yeah.
But she's like, okay, well, maybe on the way home she ran into somebody, decided to go to somebody else's house. It's no big deal. She'll be home later.
Yeah.
So, but she didn't hear from her all day. Usually when something like that happens and they don't connect again before they've been home, Sonia will call her at work.
I was going to say, this is before texting.
This is really before
popular.
texting.
Yeah.
This is before neither of these girls have cell phones because, you know, they're saving all their money. Yeah. So it's just not common. So they... Like, when she called her at work, she had to call on her work phone. Like, she calls her on a landline.
Yeah.
So Timmerie does some calling around. She's like, this is weird. I haven't heard from her yet. You know, I'll call some of my other friends and stuff and see if anybody's seen her. But nobody had. So Timmerie gets home from work, and she can tell Sonia has still not been there.
Wow.
So, like, she says she specifically knows because Sonia's makeup bag was not touched, and Sonia didn't go places without looking nice.
I don't know anybody like that.
She does. She
Some people don't even get in bed without a full face of makeup. Isn't that right,
she does her hair and like she likes to look nice.
Yeah.
So she's like, there's no way that she went out or went to work with no makeup on.
Right.
That's just not going to happen. Timmerie goes to sleep, wakes up in the morning, and Sonia has still not come home. So now it's Tuesday morning. She hasn't seen her since 1 o'clock, basically Monday night.
And hasn't spoken to her
to her at all. And nobody that she has called has seen her.
Okay.
So she's getting very,
concerned,
very concerned. So she called the police. And she actually asked if it's possible that Sonia was in lockup there. Like she had
had she been
gotten
taken
out,
into custody?
been picked up, taken into custody. You know, maybe she's in jail. You know, she's not at the hospital because she checked that. I mean, she worked at the hospital, so she's not there. So, but they said no, there's nobody here by that name. So she didn't really know what to do, and she decided on Tuesday after getting off work she was going to file a missing persons report. So she goes to the police station, but she's not excited about it. The Nome Police Department is predominantly white and have a history of not really taking serious complaints and crimes against the Alaska Natives. But she didn't know what else to do at this point. So she did report Sonia missing to an officer there and just kind of was given the...
Like the run around, the brush off. Yeah.
She's probably just out partying somewhere. She'll turn up eventually. It'll be fine.
Hate that.
Don't worry about it. Yeah. So, meanwhile, Sonia's older sister, Christina, and her husband, Tom, they live in Nome also, and they have now found out that Sonia didn't show up for work on Tuesday, and they're very concerned because that's just not like her. So they're driving around the streets looking for her and trying to think of who she might be with if she's not home. And they settle on this guy whose name was Kunuk. He and Sonia were friends, but they knew that Kunuk was interested in more and Sonia was not. So Tom went to the police station because they couldn't find Kunuk. He wasn't at home. But he thought, I guess something that's really common up here is going out hunting and staying in these hunting camps.
Oh, okay.
So he went to the police to see if they happened to know where his camp was so that they could try to contact him.
Yeah.
But the police were just like, don't worry about it. She's going to show up. There's no reason to get involved in this. And I was just
great.
like,
That feels awesome.
that's
If
nice.
we don't care, why should you?
Right, exactly. So Sonia's boss at the hospital finally called the police to report that Sonia had not showed up for work. And the police department at this point have now been it's been reported that she's missing like 3 times now. So they're actually finally going to start doing something. So on Wednesday, they sent an officer out to speak to Timmerie. His name is Byron Redburn, and he asked lots of leading questions about like Sonia's mental health and how she and her roommate got along, you know, how she and Timmerie got.
Maybe they got into a big fight. She's
and
had depression,
Yeah,
you know, so she just
exactly.
wandered off.
Yeah. He records the conversation, and they did play it on the Dateline episode, and you can hear like how scared she is, and she's like, "This is just not like her."
Yeah.
She would have come home, and you can just hear in his voice that he's just like,
Not taking it seriously.
Another missing girl,
Yeah.
So just.
That's
there was
so
definitely
awful.
not any sort of urgency whatsoever in their response to this missing person. She's a missing 19-year-old girl, and there's only 3,200 people in town.
Yeah.
Right, what else do they have to do?
Exactly.
Yes.
Assholes.
Yes.
So on Wednesday evening, now they've had the 3 reports filed. They've gone out to talk to the best friend. The chief of police gets involved, and he brings in the local fire department for search and rescue.
Okay, I was like, what the fuck's the fire department doing?
So because this is so small and they have a volunteer fire department, the fire department is also in charge of rescue. And so they send out boats because it's on the ocean.
Yeah.
And then also send people to start canvassing areas outside of town. And around 8:30 on Wednesday night, a volunteer firefighter noticed fresh tire tracks down a rarely used road. I mean, I think that is incredible that this guy spotted
No
this.
shit.
Yeah.
That he could tell that this road did not normally get traveled down and that somebody had been down it recently. So instead of going down the
if
road,
it's a community of a lot of hunters, that
Right.
kind of makes sense that you'd be paying. Yeah,
you
all
would
right.
you would
Pay-
notice
you'd
things
notice
like
those
that
things,
more
yeah.
so than like
Yeah.
And all the roads, it looks like in these videos, are all like mud and dirt
Yeah.
and gravel. So
Yeah.
like they definitely show traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He immediately went to the police station to report it, and then an officer accompanied him back to the scene with bags and cameras and other equipment to document like anything that might be down there. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this road was to an old gold mine, and there along a trail right next to the mine, they found the body of Sonia Ivanov. She was completely naked except for one sock, and she had a gunshot wound to the back of her head.
Oh, God.
Friends and family were immediately notified, and they were shocked.
Yeah.
Like, that's not possible.
Right.
Who would hurt her? Mm-hmm. Everybody loved her. She had so many friends. You know, she got along with everybody. She's not the type of person to have an enemy.
Right.
So how did she disappear and then get shot in the back of the head? Mm-hmm. The police department did open the murder investigation.
Not a moment too soon.
Not right.
Yeah,
Great.
no
Yeah.
kidding.
But it was clear from the beginning that this case was just too much for them to handle. They don't.
So they called in.
Yes.
Oh,
so
good.
they do call in the Alaska Bureau of Investigation to help with the case.
Is that similar to the Alaska Bureau of Investigation?
Yeah.
What'd she say? Did she
I don't know.
Alaska.
see? Casey, you did this because you said she was right about
That's
something.
I
right.
know.
Yeah, my head's huge right now.
Exactly.
Say something terrible about her so that she gets cut down to size.
I'm
What should
really,
we say?
really bad about being put on the spot and thinking of things.
Yeah, no.
I'm terrible at that.
Yeah, you probably couldn't think of anything bad to say about me anyway because I'm so wonderful. And I control how often you see London.
I mean, that is true.
See, and there's the threat.
Yeah.
She's like, I've given her some time.
Yes.
I feel like maybe Kristen will jump in with something. So then the threats come.
That's
yeah.
right.
All right.
Okay, so this is the part of the Dateline episode where they interview the
Your
investigator.
undercarriage smells like a fine cheese.
That's disgusting.
Oh.
That's me cutting you down to size.
So rude. And not even true thanks to our new sponsorship from Lumi.
Yeah, that's true. I do like that
I
Lumi
love
stuff.
it. Yes.
No cheese here. See, this was just me doing a free ad for
That's
Lumi.
right. They didn't even pay for this.
Okay, so they bring in the investigator and they interview him just kind of about the process of investigating a crime like this because investigating crimes in Alaska is a lot different than investigating crimes here. For one thing, towns in Alaska are not connected like everything here. You know, like by interstate and stuff like that. You can't just drive from city to city in Alaska. No, you have to fly in everywhere, and you fly into these little airports, and so all these towns have little airports because there's lakes and stuff, and the roads don't connect, and it's so oftentimes like the first 24 to 48 hours after they're called in, they're still just trying to get on scene.
Oh, yeah.
And like, crimes in the lower 48, they say if you don't have, so much information by the first 48 hours, then you're not going to solve the case. Well, so the crime lab in Alaska where they send the samples to and any evidence that needs to be reviewed or anything like that is in Anchorage.
How far away is that?
It's 700 miles away from them. So it's far.
Thank you.
But you know what? I would walk 500 miles.
Yeah.
And I would walk 500 more just to get those samples to the lab.
Yeah. I mean... So
Casey's so annoyed with us. She's done. She's gonna walk out of here. We're not gonna hear the end of this case.
Okay. Just for the record, I'm on page 5 of 20, so we got to keep going.
All right.
I feel like the bad reviewers are inside the house now. Too many tangents.
Okay, so it's 700 miles away to Anchorage. And so the police department in Nome, they took a bunch of pictures and then they just basically covered the entire scene with tarps.
Oh, okay.
including the body. They just left it there, put down tarps, and
Oh my gosh.
yeah, like they didn't even have a way to collect any of the evidence or remove her body or anything, and they didn't want to disturb anything. So
Wow.
they just covered it up and put it under guard. I thought that was really weird. It's
That
not
is
really,
so bizarre to me.
It's not really that pertinent to the case. I just
but
thought
that
it
is
was
bizarre.
so weird that they just left her there for like 2 days until they got on site.
Wow.
Yeah.
If I were her family member,
I would not care for that
care
either.
for that at all.
Yeah. No, me neither.
But I do see the importance of
preserving the
the
scene. It's, yeah.
wouldn't you be worried that an animal?
Well, exactly.
Well,
that's
and so
exactly what I'm
that's
thinking.
why they put a guard detail on it, so to keep the animals out, and also because there's grizzlies, and so they like had to sit watch outside to make sure that the body wasn't tampered with because there's bears.
gosh.
So, yeah. Investigator Carrie Cathcart caught the first flight to Nome, and she was the first to really examine the scene. And right away, she noticed a few things left behind. There were tire treads in a pool of blood made by Sonia's body. So
Someone had driven through after her body was there?
The blood after she had been shot, and her body bled. Okay. So that could mean that like the killer had to reverse or.
Right.
I mean, so basically they're saying they think that
those are the killer's tire tracks.
killer's tire tracks.
Yeah.
One thing they noticed that was very unusual was that there were 3 of the same tire and 1 different. There was also some paint transfer on this branch that kind of grew over the trail, hung down. And they could tell it was high enough up on the branch that they knew it had to be from a truck or an SUV, and it was light blue.
So we're looking for a light blue SUV with 3 of 1 tire. Maybe it's got a donut on. Is that what we're thinking?
Something like that. So a truck or SUV, light blue in color.
Kristen said maybe a long john.
I mouthed it though because I respect that you're on page 5 and there's no time.
She's got to be on page 6 by now.
I am on page 6 now.
Oh well, in that case, maybe it was a long john.
Okay, so when Sonia had initially gone missing, Timmery went to the police station to file the missing persons report, and they had her make a list of Sonia's friends. And so this list is now the starting point for murder suspects. And this list, let me tell you, this was real professional. It is written on an envelope.
What?
And they have taken pictures
like our grandmother does?
Yes.
What, does your grandmother only write on envelopes?
Yes. She specifically saves... Okay, so you know when you get like a bill and it's got the separate envelope inside of it? She saves those specifically to make lists on.
Why?
I don't know.
I love it.
But so, like, they're so unconcerned about this
that they're like, here, jot it down on this envelope.
They don't even have, like, an actual piece of paper or anything.
Right, or anything, like, official.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. It's just Timmery made a list on an envelope that had even been mailed. It had postage marks on it. So it's basically somebody fished it out of the trash.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the names on the list was Koenig. Mm-hmm. So Koenig's real name was Daniel Angusuk. He was described as having a bad temper, but underneath that tough exterior, friends described him as a teddy bear.
I knew you were going to say teddy bear.
I thought she was going to say murderer.
ABI investigators looked into him, and they say they definitely have evidence of temper and hot-headedness, but not so much softer side. But, I mean...
Does he have a record?
There were some domestic violence issues between him and an ex-girlfriend that he had a child with, and he was well known to the Nome Police Department. Okay. They don't go into details about any sort of crimes or anything like that, and I didn't look up to see if I could find him, but yeah. So just that they knew who he was, and they were always keeping an eye on him. So he's their main person of interest in this case very quickly, not just because of his interest in Sonia or his temper, but Koenig drove a light blue truck.
Oh,
You're
did he?
kidding me.
Mm-hmm. And they noticed that one of the tires doesn't match the others. And it's the correct tire.
Yeah.
that
that matches the tracks.
Yes.
Yeah.
So was this the truck that had been at the scene?
Well, it sure seems like it, Casey.
Do you remember you used to do this in
All
early
the time,
episodes?
Yes, yeah. Because that's how Dateline does it.
Yeah, this is how Dateline does
Dateline
it.
does it.
It is how Dateline does it.
I solved this problem by making fun of
Yes,
her relentlessly.
relentlessly. I don't do it anymore.
Abuse is the key.
She broke me like a wild Mustang.
Okay, so the ABI has continued processing the scene, and what they thought were initial lucky breaks, finding those things, really dried up very quickly. Mm-hmm. So with the exception of those couple of things that they found, the tire tracks and the paint transfer, there's no other evidence at the scene. There's no forensic evidence at all. Sonia's clothes have been completely removed, except for one sock. There's no foreign DNA on or near her body.
Under her fingernails?
There's no DNA under her fingernails.
Wow.
And they did a rape kit, and it comes back negative. She has not been sexually assaulted.
Okay, so what about the bullet? Is it in her?
I think the bullet is still in her head, yes. Mm-hmm. The small amount of evidence they do have looks good for this guy.
Yeah.
So they bring him in and interview him, and then at the time they also take a look at his truck.
Yeah.
So they found blood droplets on the floor of the cab of his truck.
Yeah.
Oh, my. Yeah.
They looked
do a
at
DNA test on those?
Calm down.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So they
I'll keep my pants on. That's when you yell at me, Casey. When
okay,
you say keep your pants on.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. So they also processed the tires with luminol, and it turns out that they also show there's a significant amount of blood there as well. He had 3 rifles that he kept in the back of his truck,
Okay.
one of which had blood on the butt of the gun. And there was also, they have a picture of his shoes that he had like one pair of tennis shoes, and the side of one of them is covered in blood.
And he was just wearing those around.
No, is this human blood? Because he is a hunter.
Yeah, so they asked him, what the hell is all this blood for?
Yeah.
From,
and he's like, I just took me down a caribou and field dressed it.
Not quite.
Okay. They have caribou. I don't know. Okay, so they got caribou in Alaska?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, so they're having this conversation with him. He claims he's not seen Sonia in 2 weeks. He had seen her on the Friday before, but they didn't even speak to each other. They just saw each other, waved, whatever. What?
Is it possible that he just happened to drive through
No.
where she was?
No.
Okay, all right.
Okay. So, according to him, he wasn't even in town when she went missing.
Did somebody use his truck?
He and several friends had gone on a hunting trip about 70 miles outside of Nome. They left at 3 o'clock on Sunday and didn't come back until Monday evening, which means that he has an alibi.
What about his truck? Was his truck with him or was it in Nome?
I don't know.
Okay.
Continue to wait. Stay tuned.
Keep your pants on.
Okay. I'm not going to keep saying that.
You tell me to keep my pants on. See, you don't say okay.
All right, yes, I will in fact keep my pants on. I don't want to because it's pretty hot. Take them off.
I mean, I don't use Lumi, so I don't think you want me to take these off.
Okay, so the officer interviewing Kunuk noticed that he had a large scratch on his back, which the only thing I can think of is how he noticed that is that Kunuk was doing this interview with no shirt on.
Yeah,
which
was he
is just
topless?
Weird. I don't know.
Maybe they photographed his body.
Yeah.
Maybe they specifically had him take his clothes off to photograph his body.
He claims that it was given to him. He got in a fight with
By
his
a
baby
caribou.
mama.
Oh, sorry.
And the officer's like, you know what? I'm going to take you over to the hospital with the help of a nurse. We're going to take pictures, document all this stuff. We're also going to take a DNA sample from you.
Yes.
So
Yes.
they do.
Okay. Also, do they take samples of the blood from his shoes and the
Yes.
and the car?
So
and the
they
butt
do.
of the gun.
Yes.
It hadn't even occurred
He's-
to them to do that.
They ask him about all this blood,
Yeah.
and they're like, there's blood here in your car.
Yeah.
There's blood on your tires. There's blood on your shoes. There's blood on this gun. They're like, what? If you didn't see Sonia and you were out camping, where did all this come from? He says that he hit a rabbit while driving.
No.
What?
Yes.
Was it the biggest
The
rabbit?
biggest. It was. What's that?
It was the Easter
Harvey.
bunny.
Harvey. No, that story
What?
about the giant imaginary rabbit. Yeah.
That sounds terrible.
So he hits this rabbit and it doesn't die right away. And he can tell it's just laying in the road in misery.
So he did a mercy killing
Yes.
of this rabbit.
This is the toughest fucking rabbit there's ever
Yes.
been.
So he says that he got out of the car and he hit it with the butt of his rifle to end its suffering. And at that time, he got blood on his shoes, which then dripped onto the inside of his cab, of his truck.
Oh my gosh.
That sounds totally made up, right?
Yeah, it sounds ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Except they're going to test it and it's going to come back as rabbit blood,
That
isn't
is
it?
exactly right. It didn't.
Oh, shit!
It's all animal blood.
Oh my god!
It's all animal blood.
Oh my god!
The tires on his truck do not match the tread.
Holy shit!
Up.
The blue paint on his truck also not a match. His story
Totally checks out.
totally checks out entirely. He had nothing to do with this, but he looked so
He
good
looked
for
so
it
good
initially.
for it.
Yes.
Holy shit!
I would like to pause and apologize for saying that he was clearly a murderer. I believe I said that multiple times.
I believe that's called pulling a brandy.
Confidently wrong.
So at this point, they're back to square one.
Yeah.
They have zero
Nothing.
idea on what the heck is going on here.
Is he sure he didn't do it?
So at this point, they're pulling officers off the investigation, reassigning them to other things. They had up to 8 officers
Right.
on the case, and now they're down to just 2.
Wow.
Officer Redburn, who we've already met, and then Officer Brian Wayavana, who he is the one who went and discovered her body with the volunteer firefighter.
Okay.
So he's relatively new to the police force, and he did not really have any experience with investigating murders. He kept
That's
expecting
who you want on the case.
well, yeah, and he just kept expecting that they were going to assign another person or take him off and put somebody on in his place. And they're like, no, you can handle it. You're the lead
You got
investigator.
it. Oh my gosh.
Wait, how long had she been dead at this point?
It's not very long.
And they've
It's
already.
a couple of weeks.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, they're already pulling people off and like.
This is such a small town. I feel like this is solvable.
But remember what the friend said. The friend said they don't care. The police
Yeah.
department doesn't care when it's a
yeah,
Native
with
Alaskan.
the Native Alaskan that they just don't.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I mean that tracks.
yeah. Officer Wayavana does appear to be Native Alaskan. He doesn't ever say if he is or not, but he looks like it. But he's the only Native on the police force.
Okay.
So he is really excited, I guess, to get this opportunity. You know, he was actually personal friends with Sonia's sister, Christine, and her husband, Tom. So, like, he knew them.
Oh,
and
wow.
they actually, when he got assigned to it, were super excited because they're like,
He's
we
gonna
know
take
him.
this seriously.
He's a great guy. He's going to take
Yeah.
this seriously. He's going to solve it, you know? But then Officer Wayavana got assigned to the night shift, and Officer Redburn worked during the day. So the 2 investigators on this case
Are not working the
are
same
not
shifts and not
the
working
same
together.
shifts, and they're not working together. Officer Wayavana is constantly asking Officer Redburn for updates, for information, you know, leaving notes and stuff, and he's getting no response whatsoever. And he's working nights, so he can't interview people. He can't go talk to people, and he's just like, I need some help with this. And they just kept brushing
Giving him
it
the
off,
runaround?
giving him the
Yeah.
runaround. So he finally decides, he's like, you know what? I'm just going to start it over. I'm going to pull the case file and I'm going to read every single report or note in that file since I can't get any information, you know, from anybody else at the police station.
Yeah.
I'm just going to start over. So while he's doing that, he comes across something very interesting. There is a handwritten tip in the file. He does not know who took it. It's not, none of the officers wrote on it or anything.
Right.
It's just a tip that had never been checked out.
What is it?
So a woman named Florence had called in after she'd heard about Sonia's death, saying that she had information for them. Please call her back.
And no one ever called her back?
And no one ever called her back.
Holy shit.
So now we're 4 weeks after Sonia's murder at this point. Officer Wayavana is like, hey, Chief, let's go for a ride. We got a tip to go check out. So he and the chief go and visit Florence at her home to see what she had to say. And that seems to be pretty common. They go to people's houses instead of bringing people down to the station because like they initially went to visit Kunik at his apartment too.
Yeah, maybe to make people more comfortable.
Make it more comfortable. And they do show like pictures of the police station. It is very small.
Yeah.
So they probably just don't have a whole lot of space or anything. So Florence, it turns out on the night of Sonia's disappearance, Florence and her sister had been out on their front deck smoking. They don't like to smoke in their house, so they were sitting outside. And Sonia had actually walked by on her way home. Florence's sister actually knew Sonia, so they actually waved and said, hi, how you doing? You know, and Sonia saw them.
So, yeah, they recognized
her. They verified her, recognized
yeah.
her. They know for sure it's her because they knew her, or one of them knew her. They noticed that there's a car following Sonia, or not a vehicle, following her pretty closely behind. And it's pretty obvious that it's creeping along, slowing down. And she's walking, so it's obviously, you know, pretty clear you're being followed. But then all of a sudden the car sped off and went around the corner and they didn't see it.
Because they saw the people on the
porch watching them.
Yeah.
But then they noticed at the very next corner, it came back in from another direction and cut in front of Sonia to stop her. So it intercepted her, and it's close enough, even though it's, you know, like a block down, that they can still see.
Yeah.
Sonia's actually leaning into the passenger window of this vehicle, and she's speaking to the driver.
Okay, so it's somebody she knows.
Yeah, and then
Not
she
necessarily.
But I mean,
I guess
probably
that's
in
true. In a small
city.
town. Yeah.
comfortable enough to talk to them. I
Yeah.
mean, and then she gets into the passenger seat.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
Okay.
And the vehicle drives
Just
off.
drives off. Well, that is absolutely something. Do they have a description of the vehicle?
And they even know what time it was. It was exactly 1:26 a.m. because they looked at their watches.
Well,
they
yeah,
thought
because
it was weird.
yeah.
They thought it was weird. They are the last people to see Sonia alive. But yes, there is important information about that car or that vehicle. It wasn't just any car.
Is it a fucking police car?
It's a known police car.
Oh, shit.
Holy shit.
Oh, no.
Holy shit.
Is it the guy on the day shift?
Red mane, red something.
Redbird.
Redburn. It's Brian Redburn.
Byron Redburn was his name, but no, I will tell you, no, it is not him. Okay.
Joe Geronimo.
So Officer Wayavana was like, holy crap, that's big. He and the chief agree right on the spot. They're like, okay, Bureau of Investigation has to come back in. We cannot do any more investigation into this whatsoever. The implications are clear that this is coming from inside the police department.
Yeah.
We can't be involved whatsoever.
Yeah.
So the Alaska Bureau of Investigation comes back and takes over the investigation. And case officer Eric Burrows was brought in to head up the case. So he does his initial review of all the evidence and everything, and what he notices, the lack of evidence at the scene is actually very indicative of somebody who has evidence awareness.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a knowledge of what investigators will look for and use to identify suspects, and uses that information then to help conceal their identity. More proof that this was a cop. Yeah. So the first priority was to discover who was driving this police vehicle on the night in question. I mean, it's a small town. It's a small police force.
Yeah, that should be logged, right?
The Nome Police Department has 3 Ford Expeditions that they own. So nobody has their own car. They practice what is called hot seating, which is where whoever's on duty uses the car. They drive each other to and from work. They pick each other up.
Okay.
I thought that was when you fart and you roll up the window.
So
Similar.
yes, very, very.
Rude to do when somebody else is having to
I
take
agree.
over the car.
It's a terrible thing to do. And that's why we on the Let's Court podcast do not endorse it.
Okay, so knowing that this and knowing the night in question, they're immediately able to narrow it down to 2 officers.
Okay.
It is either Officer Matt Owens or Officer Stan Piscoya.
All right, we haven't heard any.
I like
names
Owens
yet.
for
All
this.
We
right.
have not heard either of.
I've just been so confidently wrong throughout. I'm just going to pick it.
Just barrel on.
Both of them claim they had nothing to do with it.
Of course they do.
Typical Owens.
Yes.
Just like Owens to deny.
So there are dispatch logs and everything, but
Yeah.
I mean, they're like, they just sign in and out
Yeah,
themselves.
exactly,
So
honor system.
yes,
situation,
exactly.
yeah.
And their jobs were to patrol at night. So being in the car at night around the times when the bars close is not unusual.
Yeah.
Right.
So the ABI asked them to come to Anchorage to be interviewed and to take polygraph tests. So the polygraphs are obviously not admissible in court or anything,
Right.
but I think that law enforcement routinely uses them on themselves. And
Well, you have to pass a polygraph to become a law enforcement officer.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
So James's little brother was going to possibly work at a prison, and he had to take a polygraph test. So it's just
Yeah.
like any sort of
Yeah.
situation like this, they'll make you take a polygraph test. So it's not unheard of or anything. It can be a good tool even if it's not admissible.
Yeah.
They're preparing to go to Anchorage, and it's not just like a, hey, come down here. You have to buy tickets and plan it and find a hotel and all this stuff. So they had them scheduled, and then one really weird thing happened right before they were supposed to go. One of the 3 vehicles from the Nome Police Department goes missing.
Okay.
Yep. So it's late one evening
Fucking
when
Owens.
one of the officers. What?
You better hope it's fucking Owens at this point.
Probably not. I've been so wrong this whole time. That first guy, I was like, lock him up. Hit a rabbit my ass.
Okay, so one of the officers notices that the SUV is missing. They radio it in to ask about it, and Matt Owens is on duty, and he takes the
Bet
call.
he was.
So
Sounds
he's
exactly
just
like Owens.
what the hell? He goes out looking for the vehicle, and it's dark at this point. So at 2:51 a.m., he radioed in that he has found it at a local gravel pit out of town. And he's like,
What?
That's weird.
Well, how'd he find it?
Just driving around.
All right. Seems sus.
That you put it there.
Local gravel pit is also very close to where Sonia's body had been found.
Okay.
So a few minutes later, he radios it in again that shots have been fired and he needs backup.
What?
Yes. Backup arrives. There's no sign of anybody there.
Uh-huh.
Not even Officer Owens.
Where the fuck did Owens go?
So he comes
Faked his own death.
He comes walking in from the tundra.
Uh-huh.
And he says that he tells the chief, he's like, I got really freaked out and I ran away.
What?
Really?
He heard the shots fired and he just maybe he's just not cut out to be a police officer.
Okay.
All right. Well,
That- so
mighty
he-
big of him to
He
admit
just
that.
yeah. So they process the car to go over the scene and they notice that the shotgun that is in the trunk is missing.
Uh-huh.
And somebody has thrown a rock through one of the windows. And they left an envelope on
What's
the seat.
in the envelope?
There's no fingerprints to be found. There's no evidence of shell casing. There's no evidence of shots or anything.
This is very suspicious.
But inside the envelope is a letter from Sonia's killer.
Shut up. What does it say?
I have exactly what it says
Oh
for
my
you.
gosh. This case is wild.
It's
It is.
nuts. And you've never heard of it, right?
No.
Yes. It's
No.
insane.
oh
this
my
case.
gosh.
Yes. Okay. Here's the note that was left by the killer. Pigs. I hate cops. I hate every one of you. Sonia was just a person in the wrong place at the wrong time. I do not know her. And as you can see, it was easy for me to take your pig car keys right there. It was not her fault. She thought I was a pig and shit just happened. She was just a person, and I wanted to see if I could that night. Every one of you should be more careful. I watch every move you make. You leave me alone, and I will leave you alone. I will also shoot you in the head if you get close.
Oh my
No,
gosh.
the lady doth protest too much. It's
Yeah.
Owens.
Yeah.
It's Owens all over it.
100%.
And
Okay, so it's not actually a cop. I'm just a guy who hates cops, and I
stole a cop
the
car on that
night.
particular
To
night
make
and
you look
pretended to be a cop.
because I hate cops. I
Yeah,
mentioned I'm not a cop and I hate
But
cops.
even though I got away with it, I'm going to steal this cop car again and leave you proof that I'm the one who killed her.
Right.
Yeah. So to prove that the letter was really written by the killer, he left behind in the envelope Sonia's rec center ID card,
oh,
Oh my gosh.
which she had on her. when
Yeah,
she
so
went
it is
missing.
actually
Yeah,
the
it
killer,
is.
but that killer's also a police officer named Matt Owens.
didn't you hear? He hates police officers.
Holy shit. Okay, it better be Matt Owens at this point because I have definitely accused him.
Okay, so Investigator Burroughs almost immediately, he's just like, bullshit.
Bullshit.
Yes. He's like,
Just like that
"No,
rabbit story.
No,
Oh, wait.
no."
That one was real.
The SUVs were not well guarded, and they would often be left unlocked with the keys in them in front of the station.
Well, are
That's
you
definitely
kidding
true.
me?
But Nome is such a small town that all of the officers are known to residents.
Yeah. She would have known
There
if
was
that
no
was not
way.
an actual
Yeah.
police officer
Yes,
in
there
the
is
car.
no way that Sonia would have gotten into a police
Yes.
car and not known who the officer driving
Yeah.
it was.
Absolutely.
This letter had almost certainly been written as a way to focus the investigation away from Matt Owens and Stan Piscoya.
Yeah.
So-
Specifically Matt Owens.
Because we've decided.
We have decided.
Okay, so Stan Piscoya goes to Anchorage for his interview. And so they ask him which vehicle he was driving on shift that night. And he's like, I have no idea.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are they numbered?
Yes, they are numbered.
All right. Well, you might take a gander at the
there might
number.
be, yeah.
That's probably protocol.
He says that he was filling out paperwork at the police station until about 1:45, and that that's verifiable by the dispatch log, and then that Owens took him home when his shift was over.
Okay, well, she was taken at 1:26,
Right.
right?
And so he was at the police station until
taken. She got-
1:45.
yeah.
She got
She got
in the
into the
car
car
at 1:26. And so he says that there's no way that this was a police officer. He's like, I didn't do it. Owens didn't do it. This is not it.
He's vouching for Owens.
That's what he's saying. Yes.
Okay. I love that.
Well, you're not going to think that
You're right. That your
coworkers-
coworker.
Yeah, I mean, if you worked with somebody pretty often, you would not want to
Absolutely.
think that of
No, you're
that,
absolutely right.
of them. So a few days later, Matt Owens goes to Anchorage for his interview.
He just shits his pants.
His timeline
He's
of
like,
events.
I thought I told you that it was not a police officer who did this.
I believe I put very clearly in that letter.
Both officers went on a domestic violence call about midnight or so. Ended up in a fight between them. There was like a brawl, and the civilian was arrested, and they brought him back to the station for processing. And then Owens and Piscoya kind of split up. Owens went out patrolling, and he did some paperwork while Piscoya stayed at the station to wrap things up. They did tell the same story. Both stories lined up, and both claimed to have nothing to do with what happened to Sonia. But obviously, I mean, one of them is lying.
Yeah. It sounds like Owens. If Stan's time at the police
Right,
station can be
right.
confirmed.
So Matt Owens didn't know it, but while he was in Anchorage, Investigator Burroughs was in Nome asking some questions.
Poking around.
Yeah.
Sniffing around.
People been
So he asked other coworkers.
Talking about Owens.
So he's asking, the coworkers and other people who work at the station, and the response he gets is that Owens didn't always follow the rules, but that he would do the right thing in an emergency situation, like really, really needed him to. But
What the hell does that mean?
they didn't go into a lot of details about that.
Okay.
I thought was weird also, but they also
To me,
noted
that means that his
He's
coworkers
been-
don't trust him.
Yeah.
that they don't trust him.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
think he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had an affinity for the night shift.
What does that mean?
Oh, yeah, he loves it because he's not supervised.
It's not monitored as
He'd
much. Yeah.
requested to stay on the night shift, even though he'd been eligible to move to days, and he had a wife and a kid.
Oh,
And he was working nights
Okay.
because he liked it.
Yeah.
No one likes working
He
nights.
also liked to have company while he was on shift.
So he'd pick up a young girl walking along the street.
Oftentimes, he would bring people to work with him and then take them on unauthorized ride-alongs.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, and he'd been told multiple times
Not to do
stop
that?
doing
Yeah.
that, and he just did it anyway. He also did like the ladies, and he used his badge as a way to pick up women on shift, cruising around, and often having sex with them in his patrol car.
Wow.
So this is
That's
just stuff
an abuse of power.
that
Yeah.
people. It was concluded by the investigator that the women were not being coerced because they were choosing to get in the car, and he didn't detain them or put them in the back.
conclude a different.
I agree, but that's I agree, but it's also 2003. People,
we hadn't invented abuses of
That's
power.
right.
we were maybe not quite as serious about pointing out that behavior at that time.
Absolutely,
but it's
yeah.
definitely predatory, even
Yes.
if they get in the car on their own.
Absolutely, it
So-
is.
But I mean, yeah, he's banging chicks in his patrol car, taking people
It's
on
not even
ride-alongs.
his patrol car.
It's not. It's a
He's
car that he
hot
shares.
seating.
Yes.
Gross.
So
I'm just saying. Yeah. You were worried. I mean, I was worried the worst thing that was happening was farting in that car.
Now we know
No,
it's,
it's
so
way
much worse
worse.
than that.
So, in his interviewing people around town, he's also finding out that Owens liked to do this thing where he would follow women at night in his car and then cut them off and intercept them and force them to talk to him.
Well, that's exactly what happened to Sonia.
And
I think you might be right about this Owens character.
I was right
Kristen.
the whole time. Let's forget everything I said before that.
so it's also figured out that he and Sonia would have known each other at least as acquaintances.
Well,
She
sure.
worked nights at the hospital, and he worked nights at the police station.
Right.
So when he'd have to bring in people to get medical
Sure.
attention and
Yeah.
stuff like that, they interact a lot. So
Yeah.
they do
Well,
know
especially
who
she
each
works the
other
front
is.
desk.
Yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
she's the very first person he's going to see. So, and he even admitted in his interview, his polygraph, that he did know who Sonia was, but he claimed that he never picked up women, and that it was absolutely
so we're lying
ludicrous that
about
they said
everything now.
that
Okay.
he would have had sex in his patrol car, because that is crazy. Nobody would do anything like that, either on or off duty.
And how did the polygraph determine that response
Well,
was?
Stan Piscoya passed his polygraph test.
What about
Matt Owens did not.
Yeah. Also, polygraphs are bullshit.
A failed polygraph is not enough to arrest somebody.
No, it's not.
Yeah, so he goes back to no.
Has he continued to serve on the police force?
He has been put on administrative leave
fucking God.
while the investigation continues. And now his whole life is falling apart. His
Oh, that's a shame.
That's
wife initiates a
rough for him.
divorce, and so he's fighting
Probably
a
shouldn't have
custody
murdered
case.
that
I mean,
girl.
when you find out your husband's been sleeping with
Or
all sorts of
raped all
women,
those
yeah,
women. Yeah, that's
yeah, I might sue for
hindsight is
divorce
20/20.
also.
Yeah.
He's lost where he's living. He's sleeping on a friend's couch. He's just, everything is going so crappy for him.
I drank directly into the microphone. I apologize.
It was a long, slow.
It was so loud, too. I'm so sorry.
I think it's really crazy. You guys always talk about all this stuff you do, and I can't ever hear any of it on the recordings.
Plenty of people can't.
They must have supersonic ears. Okay, so Officer Burroughs talks to Owens's ex-wife, and she reports to him this incident. She says that Matt called her on August 12th and told her that she needed to pick up their son because he had been called into work. There's a missing woman, and it doesn't look good. Mm-hmm. She remembers specifically that it was August 12th because it was Matt's birthday.
Okay.
So it's his birthday, and he has to go into work. And she was still at work when he called, which means it would have been before 4:30 p.m. because she leaves at 4:30. Mm-hmm. Well, Sonia was not reported missing until 5:30 that night.
Oh, shit.
So how did he know about it?
Yeah. Well, because he murdered her.
Because he murdered her.
Yeah.
Right? And
yeah,
then,
but they're going to have a real hard time proving it, aren't they?
Yeah. So a woman that Owens had started seeing after he and his wife broke up, or I don't know, maybe he was seeing her during. I mean, who freaking knows? This guy clearly doesn't care about his wife. Anything. Yeah. He says that he wants her to leave with him, and they're going to go start over someplace else. They're going to leave Alaska.
Yeah, I bet he does want to leave.
I'm sure he does.
And so, like, they're listening to his phone calls and things like that.
Got him under surveillance.
They've got him under surveillance, and they notice that family members of his are calling to get tickets pricing for airline tickets out. And so they're like, okay, we are not ready for this, but this guy is clearly a flight risk.
Yeah.
We have to arrest him now.
Yeah.
So they do. They arrest him. So he's arrested for the murder of Sonia Ivanoff, and 2 days later, he is fired by the police department. So he is no longer a police officer.
Great.
Now that he's no longer a police officer, more women come forward.
Oh, shit.
Good.
And these women are women who ended up in his cop car not really by choice.
Yeah.
So they are women who come forward with tales of sexual assault and rape and coercion and things like that. And the women are all Native Alaskans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And many of them had tried to file complaints with the Nome Police Department.
And were not taken seriously.
But were not taken seriously, and their complaints were never investigated.
This is infuriating.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. He is even, one of the complaints, they even reported that Owens said to his victims that no one would believe a drunk Native woman over a white police officer.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And he was probably right. I mean,
yeah, he clearly was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was right.
He was right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the investigators have to find a way to tie Owens to her Sonia's murder. And will not be easy.
No.
So, because he knows what to do, and there was not a whole lot of evidence. They get a tip that Owens would frequent a hunting cabin about 70 miles away, and that he had been seen there burning some really new-looking gloves in the fire pit out in front of this camp. So it's kind of hard to tell from the video of this, but what it looks like is that there's several kind of like lean-to shacks around a communal fire pit.
Oh, okay.
So multiple buildings or multiple places for people to stay around this fire pit. So it's not like it's his cabin and his fire pit for sure. But they decide they're going to go investigate this fire pit because if he's burning gloves, what else is he possibly burning in there? So they basically treat it like they're panning for gold. Yeah. Just through the ashes of this fire pit.
Through all of it.
Piece by piece. And they find some things. They find a few metal eyelets from a pair of Skechers shoes.
What was that?
Yes. Sonia was wearing Skechers when she disappeared. They found metal hooks, remains of a bra, and the button from a pair of jeans. They were photographed, and then Sonia's sister Christina was brought in to look at the photographs, and she did identify that the button on the brand of jeans was from the brand that Sonia would wear.
Wow. Okay.
So, and she also confirmed that Sonia was wearing Skechers when she was murdered. So these items definitely
are Sonia's.
They're Sonia's. Her clothes were burned in this fire. No question about it.
Yeah, but can you say that Matt Owens did it? Can you
say that Matt Owens did it? Turns out that they say, yes, they found a key in the fire that was to a P.O. box that Owens shared with his uncle.
All right, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
So investigators also at this point decide to go back to the murder scene just to kind of comb through it again, see if there's anything that they missed.
How much time has passed by now, though?
I mean, we're still, it's 4, 5, 6 weeks.
All right,
so
okay.
it's not super, super old, but
it's not fresh.
Yeah. It's not fresh, it turns out that they did find something, though.
The fucking ABI lady missed stuff?
Yeah, apparently. I mean, and they're like out in the middle of
That's
nowhere.
true.
There's
Yeah,
it's this
that's
wilderness.
true.
There's
Yeah.
bushes and trees
Yeah.
and shit everywhere.
All
There's
right, I
gravel
take
and,
back my
Yeah.
My anger.
Asshole.
I'm sorry.
I mean, without knowing where to look, how do
You're
you
right.
search stuff like that?
All right, I'm sorry.
So what they found, though, was the missing shell casing from the bullet.
Oh, wow.
So it lets them know that it's a 22, which they did already know it was a 22 because from the bullet in her head.
Yeah.
But the shell casing being on the ground means that it was an automatic pistol and not a revolver.
A revolver, yeah.
Yeah. So Officer Redburn, who was out there helping look for this stuff, he suggested checking the evidence room at the station for the murder weapon.
Oh my gosh.
Apparently, it was not well guarded. All the officers had access to it, and it would have been very easy for somebody to pull a gun out of there, go use it, and put it back.
Oh, shit.
And so they head there. And there was a pistol in the evidence room that could have produced the casing.
Yeah.
But they weren't able to definitively prove that, yes, it was
this particular
gun. Yeah. So finally, they've got all this stuff. The justice system runs slow. We're getting to trial now. So it's 2005. A couple of years have passed. So the prosecution lays out their case, and unfortunately, it is largely circumstantial.
Yeah.
There is
Yeah,
not
it
a
is.
whole heck of a lot here that is definitively proof that this guy murdered Sonia.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go back all into all this stuff.
we heard
It's
a lot
all
of it.
Go back
you know,
to page 1. I've got more gnome jokes.
They found the remains of her clothes in the fire pit. Sonia was seen getting into the SUV. The phone call to his wife.
Yeah.
The gun in the evidence room. The key from the P.O. box.
Yeah.
They were not allowed to bring up the
Other women.
It was inadmissible. So the defense did do everything they could to poke holes in this, and they brought in a witness who claims that he saw Sonia driving a car on Monday night, which was after she was murdered.
Well, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, he swears up and down that it was her.
His name was Fake C. McGee.
The defense got the state's firearms expert to admit that the gun in evidence, while it was most likely the gun that killed her,
couldn't be sure.
Couldn't be 100% certain. Owens even got on the stand.
What did he say?
First, I am a mother.
He said that his ex-wife was mistaken, and the call that she says happened before Sonia's body was discovered actually happened the week after.
No.
Which that doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any
either.
fucking sense.
It doesn't either. Yeah. So the defense really what they wanted to harp in on was that there's no evidence. All of this other stuff is easily discounted. There are two better suspects. Why don't you look at one of them? Koenig, who's already been ruled out, but, he could have had motive.
I mean, it looked really good for him. I mean, early on.
Yeah.
And Randy was really stupid about that. She was wrong.
And they also presented Officer Redburn as a possible
get out.
alternate
What?
suspect. Yes. They said, well, he's the one who suggested about the murder weapon, and he interviewed a lot of these witnesses, and wouldn't it have been super easy for him to pin this on Officer Owens?
Wow. Framed him.
Yeah. So they rest their case thinking they poked enough holes. The prosecution is hoping it's enough for a conviction. The jury goes out for deliberations, and then after more than 40 hours of deliberations, they sent a note to the judge.
They hung?
That they were deadlocked. And the judge declared a mistrial.
Oh, my gosh.
Prosecutors did go forward with the second trial. They're like, no, we're going to do this again. He did it. We're going to prosecute. The defense asked for a change of venue. They said that he can't get a fair trial here in Nome. So the trial was moved to Kotzebue, Alaska, which is very far away.
The where?
Kotzebue.
Kotzebue. All right.
Kotzebue. It's about the same size or a little smaller than Nome. So, yeah, you'd never heard of it.
No. Do you think they have caribou in Kotzebue?
Well, it's in the Arctic Circle, maybe.
yeah.
Yeah.
Brandy.
So the prosecution, I'm ignoring her. You can't see. This is how you get her to stop doing this stuff, Kristen.
Coats made of caribou hide.
I don't know. Maybe some of them do. I don't know.
So what's the solution to this? You're saying you ignore?
just ignore
If you ignore it,
it
she'll
goes
stop
away.
doing it. It goes away.
I doubt that. I feel like she just does it harder. I feel like she figures out whatever will get to you, and just
I'm just really good at tuning her out. So
You have lots of experience.
I do. Yes. Okay, so the prosecution basically lays out the same case again, presents all the same evidence. It's all just the same thing. So they rest their case, and then the defense is presenting their case. Officer Wayavana back in Nome was talking to his neighbor, and his neighbor's like, hey, did so-and-so ever call you guys? And he's just like,
Who the fuck is so-and-so?
I don't remember this lady's name, and I did not write it down.
That's fine.
But,
Okay.
So
we'll call her
Nady's lame.
yeah. Thank you.
Nady's lame. Okay, did you ever call Nady's lame?
Yeah. So he's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, Owens is renting a room from this woman after he split up with his wife, and like he's a friend of the family, but she's also charging him rent, so it's his landlady. That's what I put in here, that she's the landlady. And that she told Wayavana's neighbor that she had seen Sonia's rec center ID card in Matt Owens' bedroom.
Holy shit.
Yes.
Did she snap a picture with her iPhone that she did not have?
Did not have in 2003.
2003.
And the iPhone wasn't invented until 2007?
Yeah, perhaps.
Okay, but so they're really nervous about how to get this in. They've already rested their case.
Yeah.
This is obviously critical information, and they got to get it. They got to get something done before the defense rests, because then they're out
they
of
get
luck.
a redirect. Can they make her a redirect witness?
Yeah, so here's what they did. Because she was friends of Owens, they were worried that they're going to call her to the stand and she's going to say, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's just going to deny everything.
Right.
So they were able to get a warrant to record a phone call between her and the neighbor.
Oh.
So the neighbor asked her, he's like, hey, I think I might have stepped in it. I was talking to, my neighbor who's a police officer with Nome, and I told him what you told me about that rec center ID card. And he, I don't know if I was supposed to say anything, but he was very interested in it. And she's like, oh, okay, well, he's like, I remember you telling me you were going to take it to the police or to the lawyers. And she's like, well, yeah, I was going to, but then I read in the papers like a day later that they already had the ID, so I just didn't worry about it.
Oh my gosh.
They get this whole thing recorded on tape. And then they get back when they're for redirect, and they basically say to the judge, hey, we know we're not supposed to do this, but new evidence has come to light. We have this witness. We want to call her. And the judge says, yeah, okay, I'll allow it. So they do allow it in.
Okay.
They put her up on the stand and they ask her the questions. And what do you know? I have no idea.
I have no idea what you're talking about. So then they play the tape.
They play the tape in court.
Roll it.
Yes, so they play the tape in court where she is basically saying that she didn't ever. She's basically confirming that she for sure saw it. And she's perjured herself. Yes. And then they summarize their case.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, this is proof positive that he killed her. He had her ID card, and then he put it with this fake letter in the car.
And at the end of the letter, it said, by the way, Matt Owens didn't write this.
Yes, basically. So it goes back to the jury. And this time, they find a verdict.
Yeah, guilty.
Guilty.
Right? Yeah.
First-degree murder. Yes.
Ooh.
Sentenced to 101 years in prison.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. The judge, not just like life in prison.
No,
101 years.
Wow, they don't.
It's got to
fuck
be
around.
like aggravating circumstances for being a
absolutely.
police officer and all this other stuff too. So there wasn't any sort of
he used
breakdown.
his position of power to
get her in his car to begin with.
And not only that, he then continued to try to use it to shift the blame onto other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. This guy was a bad, bad cop.
Yeah.
I knew from the minute I heard his name.
So he has appealed based on ineffective counsel, but that was denied.
Yeah.
And so as of 2017, he's still serving his sentence. 2005, the Ivanov family settled a wrongful death suit with the Nome Police Department. They stated that the police department should have known that Owens was a risk.
Yes, absolutely.
In 1997, Owens originally applied to be a police officer, and the police chief at that time refused to hire him.
Wow.
Citing concerns with his character.
Yep.
But then he retired, and a new police chief took over, and the new police chief hired him. Yep. One thing that this case has really brought to light is a major problem
Native
in the
Alaskans are
Nome
treated?
Police Department. Yes. Crimes against Alaska Natives, especially women, are not taken seriously. They're often ignored and rarely investigated. So Sonia's murder, though, was kind of the tipping point. You know, she's been murdered by a cop and the natives, which in Nome, natives make up 60% of the population. So it's a huge amount.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Most of the people in town are native, yet the people in charge are white. But the natives would not allow for a town and a police force that disregarded them any longer. So they started making a bunch of noise, and the city council decided to address the issue, and they're going to hire a new chief of police from Virginia with a specific focus of improving the police department response to sexual assaults and improving the relationship between the police and the Alaska Natives. He brought in cold case detectives to sift through the backlog of over 460 open sexual assault cases
God.
from the past 15 years.
Oh, my God.
Holy shit.
So basically, people were coming in and filing these reports, and nothing was ever
being done.
Nothing was
Which
ever
makes you
being
wonder
done.
how many people just stopped reporting.
Absolutely.
Right, exactly.
Because why
Yeah.
would you put yourself
Why would
through
you?
that
Why
if
would
they're not
you?
gonna listen?
Yes. So the actual number of these cases has got to be
much higher.
exponentially higher.
Yes.
Yes. So this new chief, you know, he's brought in these cold case detectives to try to make a dent in this. But he was met pretty quickly with a lot of resistance from the city officials who hired him.
Yeah.
They wanted him to just work on moving forward, you know, a better path moving
Let's not
forward.
look in the past.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
They do. They only wanted him to start
Let's not
improving.
examine that too closely.
Yeah, they didn't want to investigate any of those old cases. And so he ends up resigning because he's just so frustrated.
Yeah.
But one thing, you know, he did bring to light what was happening, and it did start the long process of reform. Currently, the police department in Nome has a dedicated sexual assault officer and an Alaska Native liaison. They do not have any Native members on the actual police force, so none of the officers are Native. But the current chief of police has come out and said he'd like to change that soon. But
Boy, that sounds promising.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, exactly. So that is the story of a murder by a bad cop.
That was nuts.
wild.
And you told it so well.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you. This case really resonated with me. I thought it was just awful. And this is just, for me anyway, more proof that there needs to be more police training.
Yeah.
There's got to be some sort of reform. And I understand. I'm not afraid of cops. I have no reason to be afraid of cops.
Yeah, because of our privilege.
Yes,
Yeah,
my
that is
privilege
a
says that
privilege.
I don't need to be afraid of them.
Yeah.
But there are enough cops in this country that a certain percentage of them are bad cops.
Absolutely.
And those people should not be protected by the system.
No.
And they are.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an absolute problem.
Yeah. It's just... okay. That one was tough.
That was
Yeah,
nuts.
So frustrating. And so frustrating that, like, they hire this new person, and clearly they're just wanting, like, new window dressing.
Yes, that's exactly right.
It's just like a PR move,
And then
right?
they're, like,
Yes,
pissed
exactly.
When the guy tries to do his job,
Yeah.
They're like, no, you could just improve it going forward. We don't need to reopen those old cases.
Yeah,
Oh
I'm
my
sure they'd fucking love
gosh,
improvements going forward.
Yeah,
No.
absolutely.
No, they want to be able to say we did
this thing. Exactly.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that sucked, and it was
Yes.
great that you told it.
Yes. Yes. All of those things are true.
How dare you make us falsely accuse so many different people? That's all on you, Casey.
Yeah, that's your fault.
It's on your hands.
I mean, really, I'm going to put it on Dateline because I just walked through the Dateline episode and that's the way they presented it.
Right.
So we blame Josh, is what
Yes.
you're saying.
Right.
Our good buddy Josh. You know, the time has come,
For
my
us to
darlings.
get in the Discord.
Yeah. Brandy, what did you ask the people?
Okay, so I asked the people to share their. Hold on. How did I word it? I have to get to the top.
Dick pics.
No.
Oh, my mistake.
I asked everyone to share their favorite useless fact or bit of knowledge. So now we'll share some of them. Case, you got the Discord over there? You want to share some
I got
too?
it.
Okay.
Okay, I like this one. Predatory dinosaurs were most likely monogamous and mated for life.
What?
There is some evidence to suggest that prehistoric raptors proposed to each other with shiny rocks. That is so
love
cool.
that.
This from
You would
Sarah
pick that one.
Kaya comes in. Sarah Kaya comes in. Yeah, I'm sorry.
You love dinosaurs.
I like dinosaurs. Your baby
My
likes
daughter loves dinosaurs.
Thanks to me and James.
I don't think Casey is really sorry about
I
this.
don't think she is either.
Did you see that you're an admin in the Discord now?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Also, David, you're an admin now, whether you wanted to be or not.
Oh, excellent. Brandy's Hoe Phase shares this fun fact with no background, but Betamax failed because porn producers used VHS.
I totally knew that.
You did?
Yes, it's also why Blu-ray prevailed over HD DVDs. Is porn.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, Clark Breckenridge, a.k.a. Lil Nut. It's technically illegal to wear a red dress after 7 p.m. in Colorado. Old-timey prostitution law still on the books, but it's completely legal to go out topless as a woman in Boulder.
I knew that. I was in Boulder on Pearl Street for a women's march where all the
they
women
were all
topless.
topless? Wow.
Yes, I was very happy for them.
You
but
were
I was
not
very
topless.
uncomfortable. You were horrified.
You were like, one time my sister wore shorts to bed, and I was upset about that.
Yeah.
So this is just terrifying.
Okay, this is kind of nuts to me. Forbidden Pizza says autoimmune disorders commonly make you immune to poison ivy.
Really?
Oh, really?
Get out in my yard. Start
I
chopping shit
actually
down.
have always thought that I was immune to poison ivy, so that makes so much sense.
Okay.
There's been multiple times where I have definitely been exposed to it and did not have a reaction.
That's really weird because I've never had poison ivy either.
Yeah.
And I have been in patches of it a couple of times.
Yeah.
Okay.
And do you remember when I was really sick a couple years
And
ago?
they
My
were like,
blood
"You're
test says I
autoimmune."
have
Yeah,
an
you have
autoimmune
some kind of
disorder,
autoimmune
but they
disease, yeah.
never did diagnose
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have Graves' disease,
Yes.
which is an autoimmune disease.
I have got a couple of partially used gift cards. They're both of yours. You just have to do some light yard work for me.
What? Our dad is super allergic to poison ivy, though.
So allergic to
Yeah.
it. Like
crazy allergic
if he
to
gets
it.
anywhere near it, he'll get it everywhere.
And he has to go go get steroid
He has
shots.
to immediately go home and shower to get the oils off, and then he has to go get shots, or else it will spread everywhere.
Yeah.
But he's really good at baseball, so.
Because he's steroids. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Is this real? That doesn't sound like a real fact. Wears T-shirts sometimes. I can speak.
Sometimes.
It says the Gateway Arch is as wide as it is tall.
Really?
630 feet.
I mean, I don't know.
I'll take your word for it, but looking at it, it doesn't seem like that's true.
Yeah, I mean,
Are you gonna tell us about parabolas and stuff?
God, no.
Okay, good.
I couldn't possibly, but since you brought it up.
I mean, I don't know specifically, but part of the arch is underground, so maybe the widest part of it
Oh, yeah.
would be. Because, like, you get on underground in the
yeah.
station. Like, you get in the little...
Yeah.
The whole visitor center is all underground.
We went up in it when we were kids, and you get in these little eggs to
Oh,
ride
it's
up.
awful. Don't do it.
And
Don't do it.
I remember that we were in there with another woman, and she didn't shave her legs, and I was a small child, and I remember thinking, I've never seen a woman who doesn't shave her legs.
That's what you remember from
That's what I
going
remember.
up in the yard.
Good for her. I mean,
I know. I'm very happy
I was gonna
for
say,
her.
you could-
Absolutely.
You could look over here and see a woman who hasn't shaved her legs in a long time.
Let's blow your mind, Brandy.
I do shave my legs when, like, my legs show, but in the wintertime, sorry, James, I am just not interested.
Ooh, DP for DP says a crocodile can't stick its tongue out.
Oh.
Oh.
Lazy Lesbian Biz says anteaters have prehensile penises. They can
What's
move
that
them like
mean?
we move our fingers.
Oh, wow.
That's
David can do that.
Oh, my God.
He can't
Wow.
do he
Thank
can't
you
do like
for
a mean
clarifying.
helicopter dance. Okay, you guys are looking at me like your husbands have never done helicopter dances.
They don't have the technology.
I mean, James might have done it, but I was just like, okay.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna say I got excited by that.
Wow, Brandy's fucking dazzled.
So you made it
First she
sound like
sees
it was
a woman
impressive.
with leg hair, then she sees topless people in Boulder, and then David helicopters.
I'm a woman of the world. I've seen it all.
Oh my gosh, does not light up a room says pig orgasms average 30 minutes but can last as long as 90 minutes.
Oh, shit.
We should all be cops.
What? KT says female platypuses don't have nipples or teats like other female mammals. Instead, they have two patches of skin that sweat milk that the mother has to guide her young to because baby platypuses are born blind.
Oh, wow. It's kind of like those essential oil diffusers in the
I feel like the platypus is just like everything that was left over in one animal.
Absolutely.
Okay, I see Fat Legs says pigs are smarter than dogs and 3-year-old human babies.
That's rude. Len is very smart.
She is extremely smart. There is not a pig smarter than her.
Okay, this is horrifying. Death by Pants says a garden snail has about 14,000 teeth.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot of teeth.
I don't care for
I
that.
don't like that at all.
Nope.
Oh, Fierce Mama Llama says hyenas give birth through their clitoris. Oh, no.
That sounds rough.
Oh, I love this one. Dune Buggy Princess says when a dog leans on you, it's their version of hugging you.
Aww.
Queen Nikki says all cholera deaths are from dehydration. IV fluids would save every single cholera patient.
Wow.
It dehydrates you so much that you
Yeah.
crap out all your fluids. And
Yeah.
that's crazy that
Is that what happened to you last night, Bree?
Brandy has
I
cholera
was-
right now.
I was up sick last night. I believe I got a touch of the food poisoning.
Just a touch.
Just a touch.
This one, Trans Am Princess says when Lincoln was president, he used to be able to go into the White House and just shake his hand.
Oh, my goodness.
Ew. 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 Civ for Brains says the most relevant one coming to mind is a meme I came across this morning that said that cheese is basically a loaf of milk.
Oh, gross.
Oh, that is gross.
That's disgusting.
This can't be true. Peachy Stream says only female ducks can quack.
I have no idea if that's true.
I don't either, but that doesn't seem right.
I agree. Oh, I did know this. Okay. Miles exists says Cleopatra was born closer to the invention of the iPhone than the building of the pyramids.
Yes, the pyramids are so
Isn't that
old.
nuts?
It's nuts to think of,
Yes.
because she would have been in the time of Caesar, so like right around. He died in
Holy
44
shit.
BC. So.
Look at this fucking nerd over here.
Because I know when Julius Caesar died, that's not weird. That's a thing that normal people know.
Kristen totally knew it.
I did too. Ask me anything. Casey, let's just talk about geography for a while. And force Brandy to listen.
Yeah.
In my ass pocket says a blue whale fart is large enough to encase a horse.
That
Blue
seems
whales
right.
are huge. Like a human can walk through the chambers of a heart of a blue whale. They're huge.
I mean, like, so large that you can't even fathom
It, yes.
Yeah. Down Bitch says it rains diamonds on Uranus.
You worry about your own anus.
That's why I don't have to work anymore.
Yes, I have heard this as well. Malin, shot out of a bonfire, says only mayors can call the FBI.
That sounds really stupid.
That's correct.
Richard N. Ball says annually, more people are bitten by New Yorkers than are bitten by sharks.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, that
Yeah,
checks out. That sounds right.
This breaks my brain.
Okay.
Flight of the Bumblebee says humans technically can't feel wetness. Instead, our brains just make a guess based on temperature, texture, and pressure. This is why cold things can sometimes feel wet.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of every ice pack I've ever touched.
Few sure optic knowledge, G, says tonsils sometimes grow back after being removed. I have heard of that happening.
Huh. Pterodactyl says, if you take all of your veins out of your
reading that
body
one right
and
now.
line them up end to end, you would die.
Ooh, ad noise. Doodaloo. Says Harvard is the Simmons of Cambridge. Everyone knows it.
But few people are brave enough to say it. And that's why I appreciate you, ad noise doodaloo. Wait, what? Katie Two Legs says female ducks have corkscrew-shaped vaginas. Years of evolutionary advancements to prevent dick rape. Do they mean duck rape? But all it led to was male ducks having corkscrew-shaped
penises.
I did not know the vagina thing, but I did know the penis
I knew the
thing.
penis thing too. I did not know the vagina thing.
So the male ducks evolved to continue to be able to rape the female ducks?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Great. You'd love to hear that.
Why do you two know about the shape of
I
ducks'
don't
penises?
know. It's one of those things that
Yeah.
you just know.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
According to True Crime and Taco Bell, babies don't have sinus cavities.
I did not know that. I read that as well.
I learned this from a very judgy urgent care doc when I thought my 2-year-old maybe had a sinus infection. When do you develop sinus cavities? You got to get them at some point.
I don't know. They also don't have kneecaps. Those develop along the way somewhere.
Yeah, but like a sinus cavity is like a cavity. It's an
Yeah,
open...
but imagine how much a baby's head grows.
Yeah, I guess that's
So those cavities probably do form as the...
I mean, London's head is already huge.
Well, she was born with a giant head, so she's really grown into it.
Ooh, Sharna wants to know, how do you get London's eye makeup so perfect?
Oh.
Goodness. Everyone, I was accused this week on my personal Instagram of putting eye makeup on my 2-year-old.
It's about time someone called you out.
For the record, I've never once put makeup on her. She's fucking 2.
She's just beautiful.
She's just beautiful.
She's just beautiful.
Bob Moss Bailey says, in Utah, it is illegal to walk down a city street carrying a violin in a paper bag. Don't you even think about it.
I was thinking
That's
about
a weird
doing it.
thing to have to create a law for.
Yeah. Is this real? Woods, L says cats are the only domesticated animal not mentioned in the Bible.
Really?
They don't talk about cats in the Bible? Nobody's got cats? There's not like a cat lady? Not up on my Bible stories. I'll take your word for it. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your fun facts.
Yeah, that was
wonderful.
fun. Yes.
And Casey, thank you for being here.
Yes,
That
thank you
story
so
was
much.
awesome.
It
So
was
much fun.
wonderful.
Was
Yeah.
it fun when we were harassing you and you thought
Yeah,
you'd never
then
finish
not
the
so
story?
much. Yeah, I did think that was going to take me like 4 hours to to get through the story.
We like to start it out rough.
That's right. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us for another bonus episode. We appreciate your support. You make this easier for us to do, so we
We
hope
make love
to...
and fun.
Yeah. Ooh,
You make love and fun.
Anyway, that was a little Fleetwood Mac for you.
I do love some Fleetwood Mac.
Of course, who doesn't? And on that note, bonus episode adjourned.
And now for a note about our process. I read a bunch of stuff, then regurgitate it all back up in my very limited vocabulary.
And I copy and paste from the best sources on the web, and sometimes Wikipedia.
So we owe a huge thank you to the real experts. I got my info from reporting by Colin Itagi for the Press Democrat, as well as articles from Elle, NBC News, and BuzzFeed News.
And I got my info from an episode of Dateline titled A Walk in the Rain, an article on Medium.com by Robin Bearfield called Betrayal of Trust, the Murder of Sonia Ivanov. The No Nugget, Owen's Murder Conviction Stands by Sandra L. Medeiros. Now, I meant to bring this up earlier and I totally forgot. The newspaper in Nome is called the Nome Nugget.
That's really cute.
Cute, I like
It
it.
is
gold.
cute. Because of gold, yes.
Yeah,
We get it.
I like it.
And then also I use a couple of websites, visit gnomealaska.com and gnomealaska.org.
For a full list of our sources, visit lgtcpodcast.com.
Any errors are, of course, ours, but please don't take our word for it. Go read their stuff.